This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Mike is checked.
Damn right it is. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. My
Good. Well,
Oilers are still in it. I watched the game on Thursday. They're live. So that's exciting for me.
one thing I've actually never been to a hockey game before. That's something I need to experience because, dude, it's high intensity. I love it, man, and I love
100,
the war.
yes, you definitely have to. Yeah, even if, yeah, seeing it live is an experience, especially well, obviously a game in Canada or Northeast US, like real hockey cities. Um,
Right.
it's an experience. You don't have to know anything about it. Like you don't have to understand the rules or anything. It's just, being in the atmosphere and, you'll you can figure out enough at the game to enjoy it.
Yeah, I just love the fact that they let them just go at it on the ice, man. That just makes me so happy because then it's like a tradition, you know what I mean? Because dude, it's hard not to get like imagine. I mean, it's just pure war. It really speaks
Yeah,
to me as a man, and I love it. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, and the balance of that, like at the end of each playoff round, they shake hands, right? They don't do that
Right.
in any other sport, and it's still what do you call it? Sportsmanship, gameship, right? At the end of the day, at the end
Right.
of it, they shake hands and say good job, congratulations, and move on. So it's a pretty respectful, despite the fighting and all the grit and everything, it's actually a respectful sport. That's actually why there is fighting, because it's like you're stepping out of line and you got to be put in your place.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
That's a good tension cutter. It's like the online,
yeah,
like all these kids nowadays, like, our age, back in the day, you didn't have social media. If you said something, you'd get your ass whooped. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these kids are really rude and confident online is because they've never been bitch slapped. You know what I mean?
oh, 100%. You can totally tell when someone's never been punched in the face before. Um, Absolutely.
All right, guys. So, hey, share the space. This can be a really interesting conversation today. I'm actually really glad this is happening because the app layer is officially live, air quotes, but we're still early on, right? And I think it's very important at this unique moment in time that we really just discuss like overall concepts, ideas, and the design of something like the app layer. Because going beyond this point, we're going to get more set in stone. So I'm really excited for this conversation. I know think it's an interesting topic, and there's been a lot of back and forth. So I'm really happy to dissect that today. So again, guys, share the space. If anyone wants to come up and speak, and if you have questions, concerns, ideas, now's the time. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Kenton, do you want to start it off?
Sure. So I guess this whole space cut, the topic for today started with ADR 20 on THORChain. And ADR stands for Architecture Design Record. And that's where any changes to THORChain are proposed and then debated and discussed. Do we want this change? Do we, is it something we agree with? Should it be should be tweaked? Should we not do it? And there's been 19 of these previously, obviously, right? And some of those threads are huge and like big, long debates. And it's not about um, how do I say this? Everyone who's in there, there'll be differing ideas, but the end goal is the same. What is best for THORChain, right? And THORChain is full of a lot of really intelligent, independent thinkers, right? And with that comes sometimes differing of opinions, right? But what's great is it's a venue for those minds to come together and hash it out And so in theory, when you go through that process, whatever change has been kind of generally agreed upon between everyone should be the best outcome for THORChain. And then after that conversation, that's then the devs will actually write code, or the nodes will actually go and implement the changes, make them on Mimir or whatever. And I think it's great. It's a way to try to introduce some kind of governance on a decentralized system, right? Like everybody's, oh, it's decentralized. There's no leader, there's no head, and that's great for decentralization. Is great for security. It's awful for governance because there's no like leader, there's no process to make a decision. It's just like, I have all these voices just mishmashing together, right? But the ADR process is a way to try and add some kind of order to a chaotic system, and a place for all the different nodes, not just nodes, but even regular rune holders. Anybody who has a good idea or strong opinion can come and talk and engage. And so we're on our 20th one, right? And it's about Applayer. And maybe just to, I keep reading that there's tension between Rujira community and THORChain community. And I've never met anyone. I'm sure you guys are all great guys. I have nothing against anybody. So if I can like try to come up with why there's any tension, it's because this ADR process was basically skipped a year ago when all the work was being done to develop Applayer and bring Rujira and all the different teams over to THORChain. And so it's kind of, I don't want to say that anyone at THORChain is like mad or angry or doesn't want them. Nothing like that. It's just, we've kind of gone, sidestepped this whole process. And I feel like any frustration that the Rujira people might have could all been avoided if we did an ADR before they'd done any work to begin with, and we just had these discussions, hashed it all out. Then there'd be no surprises along the way, right? We're all on the same page from the beginning. That's not how it went, right? This ADR 20 for Applayer just got posted like within a month ago, and it's just being discussed in Discord in the last week. And I have one of the paragraphs in the ADR I disagree with, and I'm voicing my opinion, and just help other people know where I come from, my biases. I only own Rune. I'm running those on THORChain. I want Rune price to go up as much as possible, and I'm partly representing my investors and my bond providers, right? Like kind of echoing their voices too, right? So it's so I'm representing, my nodes and how I think that they should vote and act in THORChain. And I'm happy for other nodes to disagree with me. I think that's what keeps this ecosystem healthy, right? I'm not always right, but if I do feel strongly that I am right, I'm going to say something. I'm going to speak my mind, and I hope others do the same. So maybe I should stop there. Does that kind of help set up the stage?
No, I'm really glad you said that, because you're establishing the reason why, like your main reason here is that you want to return to form, and the core devs, some core devs did admit like, hey, I bear some responsibility on this because the ADR process was not respected. So, and I think this is good because, Kenton, you're establishing the first principles of how this system should run. Now, I think it's an understandable situation, just given the chaotic nature of THORFi, that everyone was so busy, there were so many moving pieces that as a community we didn't do a proper job in ADR, but we should hold ourselves accountable to that. And I think your point, Kenton, is a good one, is that I just want the best design, not only for THORChain, but Rujira as well, like to get the maximum amount of the Applayer. And so I think it's always good to go back to our initial assertions, or an ADR process that maybe wasn't as done properly as it should have been done. And let's really like take a step back and talk about it, because you're right. As I'm someone who I have Rune in your node, I'm watching the conversation within the node, and a lot of people are just confused, right? They're not 100% sure of like what exactly is going on. And I think that's on the Rujira side too. So this is the opportunity where we are actually going to take a step back and kind of, do a head nod to the process that we sort of skipped or was kind of half-assed, if you will. And let's have a proper discussion, and then let's figure it out, and let's discuss all the ideas and see if we can get some consensus on this. Because, as I said, I think your concern is a good one.
Yeah, thanks. That sums it up. I don't know if any of the Rujira people want to maybe add to that intro or setting the stage.
Hey guys, hey, PM
Hey,
here.
Pragmatic.
So yeah, so first, I think that's a very fair comment. Like the fact that this ADR was skipped is probably the fundamental issue here. The way, from us, we got kind of parachuted into this THORChain ecosystem with very little knowledge at first of all the economic design and the governance design and all that. We were brought in by a GP, and we did not know about any ADR process. We assumed like if GP was bringing us in, it meant that it was all clear, and we had an agreed plan to deploy the Applayer as a permission environment on top of THORChain, as it was presented to us. So it looks like indeed a step was missed, which is this ADR 20, and yeah, that's an issue with the process. So good to have it finally being discussed. And I think today the key topic is really about this contentious point of whether it should be permissionless or not, and excited to dig a bit deeper into that, and hopefully give us our perspective, and maybe I think there's a bit of a mind shift to be made here, and I hope I can help you see things a bit differently by the end of this call.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, this is Cal.
I think that's great.
Sorry if you don't
Cal.
mind if I jump in. Do you guys mind defining, what ADR 20 is like core about? Because I think a lot of people listening probably haven't read it. And there's a few things in it, but there's the one core issue, which is kind of what's being discussed here.
Well, basically, it's just what is the Applayer, and how is it going to be set up, like kind of like what is it? What's it going to do? How is it going to operate? Just some general guidelines. And so and one of them is about having competing apps, and that's where there's been some disagreement with me and others, is that the way it's written, the way I read it, is that there basically should be no competing apps. And whereas I'm of the opinion that we should definitely have competing apps. It should be encouraged. And so that's the part we're debating right now. Does that answer you, Cal? Or did you have a better explanation than me?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great explanation. I just think, I think defining it first was a good move. So I agree, though. I think the core of the ADR is like the definition of applications, and if there should essentially be a process to vet them, or just let it be free reign.
Yeah, and I think it's important too. It's not just for THORChain nodes to adopt, but it's like, guys, like everything we do here is great for anybody new to THORChain or new to Rujira to do due diligence, right? That they can go read this stuff and they can see, and there's a record, and there's been, okay, the things are laid out. This is how it works. So it's good to have all this stuff.
Eric, you had your hand raised. Were you wanting to say something?
Yes, definitely. So, okay, so you guys were mentioning stuff about the code and about the ADR, more technical stuff. But also, I think that it's worth mentioning to the community and to the audience right now that these kind of spaces and the topics that are coming up on these weekly spaces are taking a shift, and it might be worth mentioning to people that okay, so when we come up with these topics and when we try to put them out for the community to discuss them, to come up and speak, to drop a comment under the space if you don't want to come up to speak, but we can read it so we can discuss it. It's because we want to make both THORChain and Rujira a better place and create better synergies between the one and the Applayer, right? So, guys, do not think that we are coming up with these topics to try to create pushback or to try to create some controversy. It's to align and to actually work together. So that being said, just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah. See, this is I agree, and I don't mean to cut you off, Kenton, but
Yeah.
the spaces here are meant to figure things out on the fly. And I saw this topic and I requested it because I thought it was very interesting, and I think it's worth debating 100%. And just like Eric said, we're here to get everyone on the same page, or at least understand where everyone's coming from, and then go from there. Go ahead, Kenton.
No, Eric's absolutely right. Like, trust me, guys. It's Saturday morning for me. I'd rather be out scuba diving right now. Like, I enjoy talking to everybody, but trust me, this isn't what I want to be having any kind of debate. No, it's not. This isn't engagement farming. This is just a debate ensued, and we thought, oh, let's just have a space let's talk about it. It's so much better when we talk, right? Than keyboard warring each other.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe get into it. Let me just explain my position a bit more. So, the way the ADR is written is saying, I think the title of the paragraph is duplicate apps are discouraged, and the idea is to, I guess, encourage development of those apps so they don't have to worry about competition. And then, but if an app is starting to fail or the devs ghost and they're not maintaining the code or whatever, then fine, that app can be removed. The THORChain nodes can elect to remove that app and then make room and approve for a new one. And the way I read that and the way I interpret all that is basically it's like THORChain nodes playing central planner. And I'm a hardcore Austrian economist, anarcho-capitalist. So you guys understand my economic views. And I believe in free markets. And I think Austrian economics has done a fantastic job of going through the historical record over hundreds, if not thousands of years to demonstrate why planned economies, central planning does not work. The freer the market, the more prosperous it is. And so I want Applayer to be, as a Rune investor and bond provider gets yield from nodes, I want Applayer to be as prosperous as possible. And so I want there to be like hundreds of apps, thousands of apps. Bring it to me, right? I want all that yield, and on THORChain. And so I think there should be competition from THORChain's point of view. And just to, I feel like I know the rev share is 50% for Rujira. I'm not saying there should be 50% rev share on Rujira and 0% rev share on any other apps. It should be the same across the board, right? Every team, every app has the exact same rev share. No one's getting any special treatment. And so I've had people say, well, with the rev share, you're not going to have any competition. So you're arguing that your point is stupid because no one's going to accept those terms. I'm like, all right, well then the Rujira has a natural monopoly. And great that they have what they want. And maybe that's true. We can't get any other teams to come on because the rev share is too high. Well then, but if we do want to stimulate more apps, then maybe we reduce the rev share to get more teams. But we should also reduce it for Rujira. Like, I'm not saying different rev shares for different teams. Not at all. It should be equal across the board. And I completely disagree with the concept that, let's say, like perps. I'm really excited about Levana perps. I think that could be huge for THORChain and Levana. It could be win-win for both of us. I could start my own perps platform, my own app, Kenton Perps, right? And that isn't sucking mind share or liquidity or anything from Levana, because that's not how markets work, how business works. Like I have my own audience, people that follow the Kenton brand, and they don't know about Levana. They don't trust Levana, right? So they're not going to use it, but they like Kenton and they're going to use my platform, right? So it isn't a zero-sum game where there's just a fixed pool of users. And if we, like 100 users, and if we have 2 apps, each app only gets 50 users each. No, Levana could tap out at their 100 users, and I could bring in 100 users. Now we have 200 users on Applayer. So the whole idea with the competing businesses in a market is that you're actually tapping into new audiences, you're making the market grow. And I don't know if you're listening, if Slice is listening, SliceX, he's brought up the strip mall analogy. And you kind of you don't want too many competing businesses in a strip mall. And I kind of get it, but I disagree with that too. I used to live in San Diego, and they have Fashion Valley. It's this giant mall with like 100 different clothing stores, and it's all clothes. Like all the name brands you can think of. There's Macy's, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, and Nordstrom are right across from each other, and they both did exactly the same thing, but just slightly different. But they're all together in this one big mall. And what that does is that, like, I don't go shopping anywhere else in San Diego. I just go there because I know I'm going to find everything I want there. So from THORChain's point of view, we have this app layer that can do everything. And somebody wants to start a new exchange, any kind of exchange, they're like, I'll just go build on THORChain. And THORChain becomes this mall where, like, mall of clothing stores, basically, mall of exchanges. And we could have dozens of different Binances built on top of THORChain. Maybe Binance and Coinbase even decide to migrate onto THORChain, right? Maybe Hyperliquid decides to migrate onto THORChain. Like, this is my vision. This is what I'm seeing, is that everybody wants to build on top of THORChain. And and as that happens, THORChain itself is getting that many more fees. Rune is that much stronger. There's that many more nodes. THORChain is becoming more secure. And THORChain just becomes this de facto base layer that if you're going to build an exchange, yeah, you want THORChain. And so back to my Fashion Valley example, if you're going to have a clothing store, you put it in Fashion Valley. You don't go look for real estate or rent anywhere else. I mean, you might, but you're not going to get nearly the amount of traffic as you do in Fashion Valley. So I think competition on the app layer isn't going to cannibalize any of Rujira's potential users. Everyone taps out in their audience and what they can reach and who they can attract to use their product. So maybe I'll stop there. Hopefully you guys, that makes sense and see where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I have some ideas. Go ahead, Pragmatic Monkey, and then we'll go to Leo Dex.
Okay, no, cool. So I think, first of all, very much aligned with the Austrian economic thinking and free markets. Like, I'm in the same camp, so not trying to see THORChain as a central planner. I really don't think it's the intention here. But there are 2 points I think that we need to tackle. First one is a UX point, effectively. And the idea, I think it ties a bit together in the genesis of all of this. So to enable this app layer, we had to do a ton of work. We had to upgrade THORChain base layer to a standard, create a like to bring it up to Cosmos SDK 50, create the concept of secured asset and implement that, and do all sorts of things, new Lego blocks that allow the creation of these app layers. We also build a ton of components like UI components, wallet connector, which looks like nothing, but it's a real pain in the ass to have to handle that when you have so many connected chains and so many different wallet providers. We are building also infrastructure pieces to allow a lot of other apps to come and develop on top of THORChain. What we were promised, and maybe it was no ADR, so maybe we are promised that by GP without the correct authority to do so, but is to have at least a 12-month period to have a head start, to be able to reap the fruits of the hard work that we put in to enable a lot of other apps to come and develop. So that's just one, I think, things to keep in mind. It doesn't have to be like a permanent monopoly, but it has, it's kind of a reward, a first mover advantage to thanks us and the hard work we've been putting in making this possible in the first place. So that's just one point. And then the what this enable, it allows also differentiation initially, at least, of offering this one nice UI UX. I don't know if you have tried it, Canton, or anyone here. I hope you did, but it's just starting now. We just have one app or two apps live. The pool one is just like to add liquidity, so it's not really a lot happening there. But we have the order book live now. But you can see in the UI, it's all like in one place. It's nice and easy, and it really look to compete with a Binance. And so having this nice unified UX, I think, is a good way to differentiate initially. It's allow us to effectively just capitalize on the work we did and nobody else did before. That will allow eventually much more teams to come on board. But more importantly, that's kind of the base layer reason of why at least a 12 months period of exclusivity would make sense. But there are like much deeper consideration here. The first one, and sorry, and on that point, having this exclusivity is also what allows us to have then this very cooperational partnership with THORChain, and that's why we can do 50% revenue share, which is huge. Like imagine if you were taking this example of this fashion mall. If each of the store in the fashion mall had to pay 50% of their revenue to the mall owner, I'm not sure the mall will be there in the first place. But yet, us as Rujira, as a team, as a combination of teams, by the way, because we are not just one team, we are several teams, part of an alliance building those different products. We agree to a 50% taxation to build this Applayer. And this, one of the reasons we agree in such a high tax rate is because we had this exclusivity. So from the moment you remove this exclusivity, you also remove the need to have such a high revenue share. But even if we were to like, if you were to make it totally permissionless, meaning you really don't need to ask permission to deploy a new smart contract, you will have no way to enforce this type of revenue share at the code level, because once like you deploy a smart contract, it's a CosmWasm envelope, and smart contract inside this CosmWasm are just like standard user account, but that you can program to do certain things. You cannot enforce any of the codes that is being deployed in the smart contract to have a revenue share. So you could just end up in a situation where you have a ton of new apps at launch and don't share anything with THORChain, and you cannot stop them because there is no longer this process of whitelisting deployers by the node operators and the option to shut down a contract for whatever reason is deemed necessary. So that's just more on the like technical implementation of enforcing. Like you cannot have a permissionless Applayer and enforce a revenue share, and therefore, like if you make it permissionless, you remove this certainty of having a revenue share that you only get because we are in an actual partnership. At least that was sold to us. But of course, when it's a decentralized community, and when speaking with you and keeping the ADR process and all that, like we were not aware of that. And now we are in a situation where it feels like people like you just, oh, you are just one shop in the mall, and we want much more shop. But that's lead me to the much more fundamental point here, which I hope can, I hope I can help you see things a bit differently. So if you think of THORChain as a protocol, THORChain doesn't have 3 different swap routers and 5 replication of the same liquidity pools. It's just one protocol with one set of each of the pair it's serving, and one swap router that allow you to swap any asset to any output routing by a rune. And then on top of that, what you get is a lot of different front ends, and those are your shops. Those are your little brands, and they go and spin out different front ends and create like curate for different audiences. And you can have the Canton brand having his own front end, and you will have your own audience using it, and you can monetize by adding a fee, an affiliate fee on top of that. And that's a very symbiotic relationship, because the protocol itself, the set of rules that define how exchange work, is still the same. You don't fragment the liquidity, you don't fragment the possible routes, but you can have like an expression of a lot of different tastes and colors and brands via different front ends. Well, what we are trying to do here with Rujira is exactly the same thing. You should not think of Rujira as just a mall in this big shopping center. Rujira is actually just extending the mall. What we are doing here with this app layer and with the score primitive we are building is providing a THORChain-based layer with more capabilities. But then what we are going to do, and that's an important point in the roadmap, we are going to also implement a framework of affiliate fee, but also referral fee. And let me dig a bit into that. So we want to replicate, this has been a key success factor for THORChain, having this ability to have multiple front ends that can add a fee on top and monetize. The issue with the affiliate fee model is that you add the fee on top. So it means the end user is paying for this, at the end, you charge the end user for this extra service you are providing, which, I mean, is fine, but not optimal, especially if you are operating a front end yourself, because then it means that anybody can get a cheaper price if they know how to put the right memo, or if somebody spin out a front end with no fee, and it could take, if the audience was just like cost sensitive, it will take all the market share. But in our case, so having just this affiliate fee, so we'll have this affiliate fee as well, and for all of the application, but we also want to create something that I call a referral fee. And the difference between the affiliate fee and the referral fees, the affiliate fee is what you add on top of the protocol revenue, and the referral fee will be something that we take from the protocol revenue. And will be a parameter, TBD, but maybe like 10% of all the protocol revenue if you come with so from a front end or an integrator who has a specific codes, he gets 10% of the revenue. We get only 90%, which is split between THORChain and Rujira. But the end user doesn't support these costs. And that means that we can create a ton of other alternative front ends that are as competitive in terms of costs as Rujira is. So that's first important distinction. But this also allows us to do, it means that we can then really think of like the app layer being just this extension of THORChain, and where effectively we want to see like, okay, so initially we will be operating the main front end, and we will have, I assume, the biggest market share, but we want to see a ton of integrators and ton of alternative front ends that come and do things differently. And by the way, everything is open source. So you will have like, we make it super easy for people to copy paste and replicate what we do, so to compete with us. And we will make, with this referral fee, we can make it in a way that they can even compete without having to charge more to their end user. And that's very powerful. That's they will also have the affiliate fee. For some reason, the front end is like for people who have very captive audience that is not so much price sensitive, then you can add a fee on top if you're a Ledger Live or whoever. But we can also allow a much stronger competition by having other front ends that don't have to do all this work, that just like almost like for copy paste the current UI, just add a referral code relative to them and change the logo and the color, and go and directly compete with us, and that's and maybe add feature and do stuff to try to differentiate, and that will be happening. But you don't need, like, to offer the best user experience, you don't need to have 3 different order books and 3 different money markets, and then fragment the liquidity that exists for making markets on those order books, and for lenders who have 3 different options to provide the liquidity in 3 different pools, which mean like the user, depending on where he borrow, you will have a much more sensitive interest rate because it's a function of utilization. The idea is to then you can keep the app layer very much like THORChain, just one unified protocol with a score primitive, which just extends the number of primitives, and you make all the competition and all the branding and the fun stuff happen at the front end level. And thanks to the concept of referral fee, we may even make it possible to compete without incurring an extra cost that you end up charging to your end user. So I think that's a very important mind shift. And if we can agree that that's actually a better model than having 3 different order books and 3 different liquidity pair for, I don't know, the BTC, USDC pool in 3 different concentrated liquidity pools on 3 different decks that don't communicate with each other, and at the end provide a worse cost to the end user. I think that's suboptimal, and I think the design of having just the best possible smart contracts infrastructure, which by the way is open source. So that means that if certain features are missing, other people can come and just like we improve over time the THORChain base layer, you can improve over time the smart contract on the Applayer and build a better and better, more robust, more feature-rich core primitive, and then have this competition at the front-end level.
I'm gonna and Leodex is next, but I'm gonna allow Kenton to respond to that. And once the back and forth is done, then we'll go to Leodex. Go ahead, Kenton.
Well, I've got a few comments and a few questions. If Leodex wants to add something quick, I'll let him jump in because I have a lot.
No, you're good to go ahead. The one thing I'll mention is, and I've seen a lot of talks about the strip mall analogy. I think, it can be good in certain ways, but the main issue I have with it is like a strip mall has, limited retail space or limited real estate. So, in the physical world, strip mall can't change its size, every second of every day. And I would say a big difference here is that, on the app layer, it can be as big or as small as you want it to be. And what we've seen with other blockchains and DeFi protocols and whatnot is that you open source everything, teams are building, you might have 1,000, we kind of saw that DeFi summer, you have like 1,000 DeFi apps come out. But if you look at DeFi now, it's concentrated to maybe the top 10 who really took all the market share, simply by building the best apps. So I think a big difference in the analogy is that when you're building something digitally that has infinite real estate, it changes the dynamic a lot, where I think it's much better to just have a bunch of stores open all at the same time, and whichever store can innovate the best, those stores succeed the most and take the most market share. So I think that's a huge difference here.
Cool, thank you. Okay, I a few things. Pragmatic monkey. Okay, as far as permissionless, I view that as a separate subject and concept to competing apps. I'm not calling for Applayer to be permissionless. I agree. I understand that it needs to be permissioned so we can force these new apps to implement a rev share. So that I do want. I do agree with. We need to force that rev share. So I think that should say permissioned, but it's really just to get our pound of flesh, our tax, right? The other one is you mentioned the deal you made with JP, having if you write the code, having the 12-month lead. I mean, I don't want to sound like a dick. Like, that's not my problem. Like, that was your guys' mistake making a deal with JP. It's like washing someone's car, then knocking on their door, like, hey, I washed your car. Can you pay me now? Like, I never asked you to wash my car. I didn't, THORChain knows never asked you to write any code. But that's the whole point of the ADR process, is that we tell the devs what code we want them to write, so they don't waste their time writing code that the devs don't want. Now, that being said, I'm not saying I'm trying to like leave you guys high and dry. Like, I want what you guys wrote, and I think all the THORChain nodes agree. But a couple things. One, maybe you should be paid separately for that, like a one-time fee. Two, I'm not against the 12-month lead. I think that's a great idea. That's probably a great compensation. Actually, if anything, you're probably selling yourselves short, because maybe you guys takes longer for you to get ramped up in a year, right? But put that in the ADR. Like, but I don't see that written anywhere. Like, let's have that written down. And then two is like, what if you guys wrote all the code for Applayer, and you're like, we're the ones that have to maintain it, and we have, if we have these other teams come on and they're just using the code that we're maintaining and they're not doing that work, like, what if there's an extra, like, of that 50% we're charging these apps, what if the Rujira team gets 10% of that, for maintaining the Applayer code? So if let's say there are 1,000 apps and they're all paying THORChain their pound of flesh, well, now Rujira is getting a pound of flesh too, because you're maintaining that code that all these other apps are taking advantage of. So no way, shape, or form am I saying you guys should not get paid for what you do. I want you to get paid. I think you should. You guys, remember the way everyone talks, you guys are top-notch devs, top-notch people. Like, I think it's awesome. You guys want to work on THORChain, so I want to get paid. I think, and you should be incentivized. And there's also the 5% rev share dev fund that goes to. And right now, it's just going to 9 realms. That's coming up this summer. Like, it's supposed to be reviewed annually by nodes. Maybe Rujira devs get a piece of that, and 1 or 2% goes to Rujira devs instead of the THORChain, right? So there's other ways for you guys to be compensated than just be granted a short-term monopoly that actually might benefit you guys more in the long term, and have you more aligned with the rune price and yield on the nodes. I personally, I mean, that's how I get paid. I get paid, fees, right? Based on AUM. I think it'd be great for Rujira devs to get paid fees based on activity on the Applayer. It's a direct correlation to your work. So maybe I'll just stop there. I do have some other questions now, Pragmatic Monkey. Maybe I'll stop there, see if you have any comments on what I just said.
Yeah, maybe, and then we can go into the deep of the thing, which is the duplication of the protocol versus UI. But yeah, I think so. First of all, yeah, it's not your problem that it was no idea. That's totally fair. Like, I mean, we arrived, like, we got parachutes there, and we just assume everything was sorted for us, and we would have not be asked to work on these things in the first place. So that's, I mean, that's totally fair. Now there is this idea going on. I just think it's bad that it arrived too late, but this will sort out things. On the compensation, I mean, so the idea, we have our own token, Ruji, and what we try to, like, at the end, we came here first and foremost to also try to drive the value of our own token. So the idea was trying not to be parasitic to the base layer, but if that's something that nodes would consider, I mean, it could make sense actually that we get a share of the dev fund from THORChain for just maintaining the base component of the Applayer and having make it possible in the first place. I think that's actually quite a good idea. So yeah, something to consider definitely. And the other thing you mentioned what was around if we have more apps that we should get also a revenue share. So yes, that's something we already thought of. Like if like we have different paths for builders, like I've built these maps, still not really public, but I've shared it with a lot of different potential projects wanting to work. And there is a path for apps that are potentially competing, and there could be a revenue share there with both Ruji and the Applayer to pay for effectively all the dev tooling and infrastructure we have been providing. So I think that also makes sense, and that's definitely something we will consider. But I think that now, like the more like taking a step back and the more fundamental picture is really this discussion around what is best. Is it to have like one extent THORChain base layer capabilities with this Applayer with like a great order book DEX that will be able to tap into the base layer liquidity, but also have several other sources of liquidity and act as an intense solver almost between all those different source of liquidities and orders by users? Or is it better to have 3 different DEX with each their own liquidity pools on this same Applayer and competing for the liquidity and fragmenting everything? And my view is clearly that we are much better off to have this one great order book that is open source, that everybody can contribute and add feature on top over time if we miss things or we identify some stuff are lagging, and then have via this affiliate plus referral structure fee, this possibility to foster a huge amount of competition while all tapping into the same base protocol without fragmentation. So replicating, really extending the THORChain model and replicating what THORChain base layer is doing with the cross-chain swap, but including this scope also the core primitive of the Applayer. And then next to that, anything that built on top is welcome to come and to tap into those core primitives. But yeah, so keen to get your view on that.
Yeah, I think this is probably where we disagree. So like the way I look at it is, THORChain is how do I say this? So Applayer and THORChain, it's its own L1. It's like its own country. Let's call it like the USA. And in the US, we've got Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, Gemini, a handful of other centralized exchanges. And if I'm understanding you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understand you is that you're saying the US should not have all of these different exchanges. There should just be one. And all of that, all the users, all the activity should just be on one exchange. It would be way better for the users to just use one exchange. And therefore the US should say, what? No, we're only allowing coins. Don't start any other exchanges. You can only use Coinbase because that's what's best for the user. And that's what I'm hearing when the way you explain it. And yeah, please, if I'm wrong.
No, not at all. That's what I'm telling you is that imagine the US was a smaller country, and now with the Applayer, we extend the territory to the US, and now it also includes Canada. Okay, and it has a bigger space for all sorts of business to come, but it's still the same core infrastructure. It's the same physical country with the same provider of motorways and healthcare or whatever you put in your L1 public good tool sets. It's just that now we have more tooling and we have a bigger territory. But then you still have the opportunity to have a ton of competition at the front-end level because that's the same thing. Like if you think about THORChain, the competition is not like, well, you have Maya, which is a fork, and that's pretty much the only competition. But otherwise, THORChain itself inside the country THORChain, you have this competition via the front ends. And what I'm telling you is just that you should see the Applayer and the core primitive we built, the smart contracts, the protocols that allow to expand the capabilities of the Applayer, of the base layer. That's just an extension of THORChain. So historically, THORChain could only do cross-chain swaps. Now you will be able to also do order book, have an order book DEX. You will also be able to have a landing, to have a launchpad, to have perps. But all of that, you have two components to that. You have the core infrastructure, the motorways, the same as you have on the base layer, those liquidity pools and the swap router. Now you have those new primitives. You also have the order book. You also have the money market. You also have the launchpads. And then you have one UI to start that allows you to allow user to actually access the services. But we can have a ton of other UIs, existing UIs that are already in the ecosystem, or new UIs, or mobile apps, or whoever integrators that can come and plug into this new infrastructure and create this competition. And you can have your Kenton branded DEX if you want. You can have a lot of different expression of with different fee levels, because you can either do no fees compete at the same exact level as the Rujira infrastructure by just using the referral fee, or you can add a fee on top and do something more premium because you add some feature in addition to that for some reason users are willing to pay a premium to access. So it's not about having just one application, one Binance. You still have all those different front ends, but the core infrastructure behind it is shared. The same way that the core infrastructure that facilitates cross-chain swap on THORChain is shared across all those front ends. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I think maybe I'm starting to understand. So Rujira is like SwapKit. You want all the SwapKit packages up THORChain and makes it easy for different wallets to integrate. So Rujira is packaging up the Applayer and making it easy for other front ends to integrate, to set up.
SwapKit could do that by just expanding the Applayer. We are one level deeper to that. we are creating new tools that allows functionalities that are not currently available on THORChain. THORChain base layer can only do, well, it used to be able to do also landing and borrowing via THORFi. That's over. Now it can only do cross-chain swaps. We are just extending the scope of what can be done by adding new primitives, new tools, and then anybody can come. We will have also our own UI, but anybody can come and use those tools, compose them the way they want with their own UI, and add feature on top of it, but still use the same smart contract, that's the infrastructure pieces, the smart contract, the set of rules executed always for a given input. It gives you this output that allows to do all those complex stuff. It's the same, and that's what can be shared between a lot of different alternative front ends without needing to fragment the liquidity again, because it's also like the vision of THORChain and the vision of what we are trying to do with the Applayer is to unify an otherwise very fragmented liquidity. And what I'm trying to avoid here is to have if you look on Ethereum or any of those permissionless chain, where you will have like 20 different forks of Uniswap with each their own liquidity pools, and none of those liquidity pools are connected together. And what it leads to is that user end up on one exchange or another, and they just access the pricing that's based on the liquidity of this given exchange, and you have all this fragmentation, and you have a suboptimal execution. And we can avoid that by having like very good, very neat infrastructure in the form of smart contract that we can all together improve over time if we need to add stuff, and then have the competition at the user interface level, let's say the front end part of things, just the way it is now for THORChain base layer with THORSwap and SwapKit allowing to integrate with a lot of different integrator, and Leodex and all the others, Doritogo and all those guys that are just like alternative front end, alternative brands to access the same base layer pool, the same liquidity, the same unified set of rules.
So using your Ethereum example with 20 dexes and all the broken up liquidity, what you're saying is, or well, this one here, correct me if I'm wrong, we can have the same, if Ethereum adopted your model, they could still have those 20 different dexes, but they'd all be funneling into the same pools of liquidity.
Exactly. You will have effectively, you could have a Uniswap that put all the liquidity and have all those hooks that allows people to, because it's all about modularity. You need to provide enough modularity to allow people to, if they are missing feature, to build on top of you to add the feature you are missing, which is very much how our protocols are designed. They are built to be interoperable. Like you can express a lot of different vision of how to provide liquidity in the market on Fin, and we can have like plenty of protocols that will come and will build alternative market making strategies that will all add liquidity to the same order book, and that is, I think, much more valuable than and you could have the same model on Ethereum where it's just like one pool of liquidity. It's a bit what they are trying to do with Uniswap v4 with those hooks. Like you can have different people that come and plug into the Uniswap v4 hooks and add feature on top of it. But under the hood, it all shares the same liquidity, except that because Ethereum is permissionless, you don't have just one. You still have like a ton of different DEX with a lot of different liquidity, and all the liquidity that is not in those pools is spread across a lot of different protocols, and not end up fragmenting everything and not providing users with the best possible execution.
So Rujira could, your vision of Rujira is Rujira could have thousands of front ends on it, and you'd be happy with that.
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
all funneling into the same pools of liquidity. It's all falling into the same smart contract, basically.
Yeah, exactly, and that's benefit the THORChain, because there is, thanks to this model, we have currently this 50% revenue split, and you don't create like a competition between the app that will reduce the potential splits, and that's work. Like, yeah, it's a win-win. It works for us because we get a share of the fee. It works for THORChain because they get a share of the fee, and people can build on top to add additional features. And we will Neverblock will actually help teams to get there. And that's, I think, a much more efficient model than just duplicating open source code and creating 20 instances of the same product.
So Rujira would be permissionless. Anybody could build anything on top of Rujira, and you would actually want that. You encourage that.
It's still the same process. Like it's the app layer. It's permissioned via the THORChain node operator need to whitelist deployers that will be able to deploy a smart contract. But we will be, as a Rujira team, the one curating those new teams that joining to make sure like it does not end up like we are trying to limit the risk of having like a hackers or duplicate or whatever. And we will help those teams to build on top of the existing primitive. And we encourage as much economic activity on top of that as possible, because we all benefits. It means more economic activity, mean more volumes, mean more fees for both THORChain and Rujira. So I see Odance and Orion and a lot of people with their hands up. So maybe a good time to.
You have more questions, but I'll let somebody else jump in.
Yeah. So we'll go. So this is how I want to do it. We're gonna go Eric, Code, Hans, and Orion. But after this, I think maybe we'll not do hands because it just, I think we'll just be a free-flowing conversation. If it gets too crazy, maybe we'll go back. Well, let's try that. So go ahead, Eric. And then I have some things I want to say too, but I'm going to let the speakers go first.
Cleared it all for me, because I was getting a little bit lost. And if I was, I'm sure that at least 20% of the audience would have been lost as well. So to do a little bit of a recap, it's been 1 hour. So we're speaking about having duplicate primitives on the app layer. But here's the thing, and what I understood from Kenton at the beginning was that he was up for having the different apps and different primitives, but then the conversation drifted into both being in the same line of, yes, there can be a lot of apps, but as long as they build on top of the same primitives, which is liquidity, smart contracts, etc., then it's all good. Why? Because you're not fragmenting liquidity, and at the same time, you're allowing Rujira to keep generating some fees and some income through using the smart contracts and the infra they are building. Right? Am I correct, or am I losing something?
Yeah, that's a good summary. Separating the smart contract infrastructure in the back end and the front ends that can all compete and use this and build on top of those core primitives.
Okay. And I'm really glad we're doing this, guys. I think this is a really efficient way to exchange ideas, because a lot of things that gone back and forth between Kenton and Pragmatic Monkey, there's a lot of nuance there that's just really slow if you were to do like a Discord thing. So I'm really happy we're doing this, guys. We're figuring it out in real time and understanding each other better, which is the entire purpose. Go ahead and kick it to Code Hans. Go ahead, sir.
Hey guys, yeah. So I dipped in a bit later, so I haven't got the full context here, but like maybe half an hour's worth. I think, I've seen the kind of proposed amendment to ADR 20. I don't think there's anybody with any kind of like sensible economic mind that suggests that competition is a bad thing. It obviously drives innovation. It drives better products, it drives better things for everybody. But I think comparing it to Ethereum is a bit of a, it's not a fair comparison, right? Ethereum had a first mover advantage. Ethereum is Ethereum. When we talk about competition, we're talking about Near Protocol, who now has better quotes than THORChain as of this morning, right? And that's what we should be competing against. And so when you talk about, it's not about like how do we get more protocols to do more things. It's about developer mindshare, and because there are real people here, right, behind the scenes that are actually doing things, that are writing the code, that are having the discussions, that are actually kind of driving things forward, right? And the people here are doing this, and if you kind of start suggesting that actually, we're going to start entertaining more people that are going to come in and do it as well, you sort of like, I feel like you dilute it a bit. And really, even this morning, right? Like, Ryan's waiting to chat. I had a chat with Ryan, I had a chat with JP, I had a chat with some of the guys from the Rujira team about how we can all work together to quote better than Near can. And this is because we feel like we're supported by THORChain and supported by this ecosystem, and like, I don't know, it's whatever, right? But like, there's an element of the fact that we spent the last 9 months, myself and StarSquid and whoever, building out these components for Thor node to allow the Applayer to exist, to allow Cosmos and smart contracts to be deployed. And the first conversation that happens now is, oh, hey, let's see how we can get other people to come and do this instead. It doesn't speak well to the developer ecosystem, and it's not a very welcoming message. I appreciate that's quite a strong statement. But I love this place. I have found a home here, right? Like I think that what we're building is really meaningful, and the people that I've met and the people I work with are incredible. And I'd like it to stay like that.
Ditto.
So
Ditto, bro.
I want to clarify something. It isn't about having other people come and develop instead. It's about having other people come and develop as well, right? So competition doesn't mean wanting anyone to leave. It's inviting other people to join.
That's exactly what competition means. Competition means I'm going to try and drive you out. That's what it means in natural selection. That's what it means across the board.
So let me interject here, because I want to give you a context, Code Hans, of what the very beginning of the conversation was. So a lot of the concern in the very beginning of the conversation was that during the Applayer's formulation, of which you guys worked very hard, and dude, ditto on the friggin' vibes, man. I friggin' love you guys. Absolutely. I think you're great. And I am going to touch on that after I go to Orion, because I have the way I'm seeing like the THORChain Rujira dynamic. I don't know if we've really touched on it, so I'm going to share my perspective out of that. But the main problem was, the whole situation with the ADR process, because I think everyone in here agrees that the ADR process was not followed in a way and basically it just wasn't. So we're returning to form, basically. Okay. And this whole space is meant to get our ducks in a row and to understand. So I think a lot of good progress has been made in this conversation before. So, it's the ultimate.
You're right. I don't disagree that the ADR 20 process was backwards. I also think that the detail required. So we came from Kujira. We built a kind of sovereign layer 1 Cosmos SDK, Cosmosm chain that was like super DeFi focused, and then we partnered to some degree back in August. And committed to doing the work to bring that kind of like Cosmos and smart contract execution layer over and integrate it with the fundamentals of THORChain, right? With the memers and the node control and all that kind of stuff. And I don't disagree that was backwards, but there was a lot of, there were a lot of decisions, a lot of very small decisions to be made. And I think if maybe it had been taken the other way, if it had been taken the other way, it would have worked, but it would have taken 2, 3, 4 times as long. And everybody else would have eaten THORChain's lunch, I think, in that time, like chain flip and whatever. Right. And so the result of that is that, myself and StarSquid and a bunch of other people have put 9 months of their lives into building this out. And now we're here, and so it's to a degree it becomes almost like an emotional thing, right? It's like hey, why have we done 9 months of this, and now it's like, oh, now let's open up this work to everybody, because we got nothing from, there was no commitment from THORChain, there was no dev revenue, there was no anything. It was done because we saw this as the future. This is how we're going to build out this decentralized finance. We're going to do the borrowing and lending safely, all the kind of stuff that we all wanted.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, because guys, we can't underestimate the amount of work that Code Hans and other people have put into this. I mean, just 9 months of ruthless hard work. And I think what we said in the beginning of the space is the circumstance of what we found ourselves in were quite unusual, right? Kujira had their issue, JP got on board with them, helped them out, and then we had issues of our own. It's a very chaotic time. especially with THORFi. And I think we need to recognize that during that chaotic time, rules got a little bent here and there. Okay. And I think that's understandable. So I think, whether people maybe were a little miffed that the ADR process wasn't followed, or maybe on the other side, people recognize that, they were under a different impression. I think it's best that we just table that, because it's understandable situation. It was a chaotic time. We came through and we did it. And here we are. So yeah, thank you, Code. And thank you, Star Squid. You guys did a great job. I'm going to go to Orion. That's the last of the hands. And then I want to inject my own opinion on this matter. And then I think we're just want to open it up and keep the conversation going. So go ahead, Orion.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Stoked to be here. I just wanted to change the framing a little bit. THORChain has had a very interesting history in the fact that it set out to solve particular sets of problems and build products around those. And I think that the app layer is kind of the next iteration of that expression, where there's an opportunity to build out specific products that solve problems for users. This is kind of flips the kind of common crypto pattern on its head, where there's a generalized L1 that then allows people to build stuff on top of, and then there's this kind of flurry of activity around various protocols, but no alignment. And I think the beautiful thing here is that taking that totally opposite approach and having full unity and alignment around a economic unit, can be very powerful. And I'm very excited that we have the app layer development, the teams around that, and then also this kind of focus and concentration around sets of products that we can bring out to the rest of the space. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of change the conversation a bit towards the fact that we're building products collectively that everybody benefits from, and those are the things that we're going to go out and evangelize and help people discover. And then how that benefits all of the various folks around the table is, it drives revenue to Rune holders. Ruji developers and projects are incentivized to build, and that there is this kind of common thread around, let's collectively bring value and products to these folks. So I just wanted to kind of change the kind of framing a little bit there and just hit on that. We also have some interesting things, like to Han's earlier point. There's a lot of people iterating and projects iterating in the space right now. And in order for THORChain to be as competitive as possible, we need as much kind of expressiveness on top of the liquidity that THORChain has, and the app layer is our answer there. So just wanted to kind of give that message, like, look, this is a huge opportunity for THORChain to continue to grow, and I think of this as like one economic unit, and we kind of need to push on all of these various things together.
Okay, dude, I am so glad you said that, because you just threw me a layup, because I want to take a step back and interject my own opinion in here. Okay. And I appreciate you saying that, Orion, because that was a great transition. So I have a different view of the app layer. I have a different view of Rujira than Kenton and maybe some others here. I don't really see a difference. I see Rujira as an extension of THORChain. I see Code Hans as our dev. I see Pragmatic Monkey as our business guy. I see everyone in this room, where you have purple and green, I see you as the same thing. Okay. So one thing I had a question in the developer Discord, because I was want to understand, if we're going to go down the route of just happening multiple apps on the app layer, what does that look like in terms of a UX or an experience on the people who are going to use these primitives? Okay. So with multiple apps, you're going to have some initially that die and fail. And so my question was on the dev Discord, like, what happens to the secured assets if there's someone in, let's say, a lending primitive on Rujira and it fails? Well, what happens is their secured assets get frozen because the nodes vote, say this lending protocol sucks, or whatever, just a random example. And what is required is a store migration of a new version in order for them to get their secured assets back. And for me,
Can I
yeah,
jump
go
in?
ahead.
Sorry, I like, what does the failure state of a lending protocol look like? I mean, as opposed to like an explosion, it's really that nobody's borrowing, and so there's no interest, and so your yield on your deposits is going to be 0.5%, and so you're going to naturally withdraw them and move them to somewhere where it's actually generating yield. And as long as it's generating yield inside the THORChain Applayer ecosystem, it's generating revenue to nodes, which means it's generating its own security, or they're going to leave.
Right.
So like,
well, on my example, it was not, so I should clarify. I'm just saying, I was just making something up. You could do perps, you could do money markets, you could do leverage trading. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, if you have multiple apps on the app layer, right? And if one decides if they suck, like this is going to your argument code, Hans, is if one sucks, what is required is a terrible experience where we have to essentially freeze someone's assets and then we have to migrate them. That was what I was told, okay? And I'm coming from the position of, what does that look like for the user who's going to use Rujira? And if that happens, the PR effect of that is pretty quite damaging. They superimpose.
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's conflating two things here, right? You're conflating the potential security risks versus a failed protocol. And a failed protocol just means you're not making any money out of it, because ultimately all any protocol in the space wants to do is generate you yield. And if you're not generating yield, then somebody's going to, the capital's going to fly, and it's either going to go to another protocol inside the app layer, or it's just going to be withdrawn as a secured asset and not be THORChain's issue anymore.
Fair enough. Okay, so as someone who I do not have the technical understanding, I have to rely a little bit on devs. So I'm going to concede that point. And actually, it's not really that important to the point I'm trying to make. So I go ahead and concede the point to you, sir. So the point that I'm trying to make is when it comes to competition. Okay, I'm like you guys. I'm like Kenton. I believe in like a ruthless meritocracy. The example that comes to mind is like the Dark Knight, the Batman movie, where you've got the gangsters, the Joker's killed the henchman of the one black henchman guy, and then there's those three guys in the ground, right? And then the Joker takes the pool stick and he snaps it in half and says, "It's time for some tryouts," and that's how I believe businesses should be, right? I believe in just pure competition, and that results the best product, the best services for the consumer. But I don't necessarily think that works on the Rujira app layer. I don't think that works for the THORChain model, because when I think about it, the one word I hear occasionally is monopoly. I don't think that app layers having specific primitives for specific services is a monopoly, particularly when there are other protocols that exist in the wider ecosystem that have these similar products, right? Like anything that we offer on THORChain, there's another DEX, there's multiple DEXs or whatever DeFi primitives that offer the same thing. So what we offer is not unique, but our implementation is unique, right? And so we are competing for those other people that use those other DeFi primitives, right? And so the competition anxiety is there. It is there. Like we don't really have to worry about monopoly, in my opinion. So this is kind of, I want to transition to Kenton a little bit, and this is going to sound gay, bro, but I've been thinking about you a lot this week, okay? So our spaces, dude, so the teams that we have talked to on the spaces, like whether it's Levana, whether it's Liquidity, whether it's like Nami Protocol, okay? We talked to like Post Tenebras, like PT, like those are our boys. And part of the auditing process for the Rujira ecosystem is being done on spaces, being live not only by the general community and the nodes, but by you specifically, okay? So I want to back up and just talk about what Kenton has been asking for years and what he's done, okay? So we have, and I promise it's going to come full circle, guys. We've been asking for marketing. He's been asking it for years, right? We want to promote what THORChain represents, what THORChain does, okay? And I think this is a great thing. Going back to what Pragmatic Monkey said about the revenue share, about how, the Rujira app layer is paying a tax to support, the secured assets, the security of the network, and that's fine. But I know a lot of Rujirans think of that as maybe too much of a good deal on the THORChain side. And regardless of whether or not I agree with it, I think it's actually worth something considering, because you have a liquidity flow that's going essentially in one direction. Rujiran to THORChain. And what I want to see is a more circular system where you have money that's being paid to THORChain go back to the Rujiran system. And this is where I bring you, Kenton. You guys, we had the THORFi implosion. We recovered. At one point, we were at 83 nodes. Let's just call it 80. Let's keep the math simple. And we started the Bond Your Ruin campaign, of which I'm going to bend the knee here to Kenton. He had the greatest efficacy out of anyone here. I helped. A lot of people helped. A lot of node operators helped. But Kenton, by far, was the guy to push us. And we went from 80-ish to 120. That is a 50% increase. And we managed that with marketing. And you know what else? That marketing budget was $0 fucking dollars. Okay, $0. He did that for free. He sent people to other nodes for free. So this is what I'm thinking, guys. We have the Rujira Applayer. It's giving this 50% to THORChain. I think THORChain needs to make a marketing budget, and then we push that marketing budget exclusively to the Applayer, because the Applayer is giving us money. If we use our marketing budget to promote them, that makes the liquidity come full circle, and it gives Rujirans the idea that they are getting something for their money, not just securing the assets on THORChain. Okay, so if Kenton can have a marketing prowess of increasing the number of nodes by 50%. What if we give him some damn money, you guys? What if we actually get serious with the marketing thing? Because Kenton, as you are up here, you are like actively auditing the teams, like the liquidity guys. They came up here, like PT, our boy PT. You are asking all the great questions. You ask all of my questions, and you ask more because, you know, like this is what you do, bro. So what I want to see is I want to think of THORChain and Rujira as a single entity, a single team where we offer services and we actually promote those services, and we're competing with other companies, other DeFi protocols, other DeFi primitives, and we all work together. And if we have Kenton, this is my great idea, my grand idea, marketing for Kenton, then you actually have a stake in the success and agency in the success of the Applayer, because you are promoting and you're checking in with the teams of, look, okay, we're doing this, these are the metrics, this is what's happening, and then we can actually grow together and work as a cohesive unit and really kick ass and take names. Because again, the implementation of the Rujira is unique. There's nothing like this. And so I think the path forward is to come together and to go hand in hand and kick some damn ass. So I'll stop there.
Mind if I jump in? Oh, sorry, Kenton, go.
I say thanks, Patriot. I got a heart on. I've been masturbating that whole time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's not gay.
I guess we're gay
now. Well, yeah, thanks. Thank you for that. But it's you know, I do have to. It isn't just me, right? There's lots of people who. It's only because I'm public, right? And so it looks like I'm doing the work and it's all me and it's not. But there's way more people who shy away from the spotlight who are just as important than just as much. And the bond providers, right? The people with Ruin. I mean, they're really the ones who, you know, we had a lot of brand new bond providers, and so kudos to them for taking action. But yeah, thanks, man. And I feel like I'd love to get in everything you talked about, but I feel like we should save that for another space. And that I'd still like to ask Pragmatic Monkey some questions to try and understand where he's coming from. But was it Leo Dex? You want to say something first? Or code hands? Sorry.
No, just to speak to the kind of the unification point of view. I mean, I don't know if anyone here follows me, but like the things that like I find so exciting, and this was kind of the foundation of. So it's good, I guess, to go back a second, like we relaunched Rujira back in the wake of the Luna explosion in 2022, and we relaunched with an order book DEX. And then we launched the lending market and borrow market and liquidations. And each thing kind of followed the status quo of what you do as crypto. You have a new protocol, you have a lending protocol, we called it Ghost. You have an order book, we called it Fin. When you have a market making protocol, we call it Bo. We have a, you know, like, and suddenly you end up with this like fragmented sort of ecosystem of products. And so towards the end of that, we moved towards, like, it was last year, we kind of moved towards a more unified ecosystem. And brought these products into one kind of more centralized exchange like type experience. And so the opportunity to relaunch and rebrand with Rujira and relaunch gave us the opportunity to kind of really double down on that and make it the best develop, like not just the best customer experience for people that are using our products, that they can then navigate from their spot exchange to their lending to their borrowing to their liquidations, just because it's through like the nav menu, rather than having to like know what the name of the next protocol you want to use is. But for me, as like, you know, I've been in software for way too long, 15 something years, and I wanted to build something, and I knew how difficult it was to build this kind of like omni-chain experience as a developer. Right? Like if you're gonna try and connect to Ethereum, to Bitcoin, to all these connected chains, you've got to understand what the transactions look like, how to translate your intent to the transaction. You have to be able to connect with like dozens of different wallets. And so my, you know, this is, I don't want to sound like altruistic, right? Because it sounds too big-headed, but like this was kind of the point. It's like I want to see this kind of decentralized exchange experience exist, and so I'm going to build the software and the frameworks that allow developers to come in and make this the easiest decision that they make. Actually, I'm going to build within, and it's not like where do you actually kind of like put the boundaries around Rujira, right? Because I'm giving these developers the software they need to connect to any wallet they like and to integrate with the THORChain Applayer in any way they like. It's just called Rujira, and the easiest way for them to do that is to integrate in the UI. And the result of that now has been that I think in the last week, right, we've had to put together an office hours because there are maybe half a dozen different teams that all want to put their own code inside the Rujira ecosystem. Some of these smart contracts, they're just building on top of core primitives, right? They're not anything else. It's really like the whole point of this was to build a decentralized Binance experience and give the developers the incentives to choose this home. And the home is, it's like a developer's home. It's like I don't have to rewrite my signers, I don't have to rewrite my wallet connections, I don't have to rewrite my message interfaces, all that kind of stuff. And so like when you talk about kind of competition, it's like it's much better to have people come into that same ecosystem and integrate inside that developer wheelhouse instead of go and spin up something else elsewhere. So
Well, can
I got off topic about that.
No, well, no, that's actually good. It's bringing it back on topic because I felt like pragmatic monkey and I were making progress. I was starting to understand where he's coming from, how Rujira and app works, because maybe at the end of the day we're talking about the same thing, but we're using different words, and so that's why I've been trying to understand the pragmatic monkey and the way he's been explaining it, describing it. So like, so Rujira is a place where like thousands of different front ends like thousands of different teams could develop on top of Rujira. Is that right?
Yeah, look, I mean, Rujira is like it's a lot of different things, right? And this is my original point. It's a lot of different people, and it's a lot of different people that are doing different things. And so you have myself and Starsquid, who have been doing all the kind of Thor node changes to enable cosmosm, secured assets, the enshrined oracle, all that kind of stuff. Which, as far as kind of like Rujira branding goes, is not directly correlated, but it's critical. Like we don't get to deploy smart contracts without those pieces of work. Then you've got all the smart contract work, and you've got the data layer middleware stuff. You've got all the front end stuff. It's kind of like it's not really branding for us, is it? It's branding for the people that are using it. And so if we can unify that branding and make it feel like a home, like Binance is a home or Kraken is a home for somebody that doesn't really understand crypto but just wants to buy it or wants to use it, then that's how you win. Okay, so like let's use Levana Perps. That's what I'm excited about. So Levana is building on top of Rujira.
No.
Yeah, and it will be integrated in the same. Well, not on top of it. It is part of it. It's integrated in the same menu. You have to click through, go to Perps. It's the same balances that you have on your portfolio page. It'll feel the same.
So is something going to Levana.com or Rujira.com? How am I using Levana Perps?
Rujira.network/Perps.
Okay. So what if Kenton wants to start his own? I want to do Kenton Perps. I want to do my own perps on Applayer. Can I come to Rujira and set up my kenton.com/perps? And that funnels into the same liquidity on Rujira.
At that point, you end up. I mean, yes. So you have to go through the same node governance process. But as far as the front end goes, or the contracts go, or whatever, right? Like, you'd end up in the same mess that Ethereum's ended up in when everyone forks everything, or there's a new fork of the EVM, and there's a new sidechain, and now we're just going to relaunch the same stuff on there and hope that it's better than it was on the original fork or the original sidechain.
So maybe let me add a bit of nuance, Kenton, here. You have two different layers. You have so perhaps you have the smart contract part of it. This is one of the core primitives, the same way the order book, the money market, the IMM are core primitives. And you have people that can come and maybe, so you have to weigh. Either you could want to build on top of perps. So maybe you want to develop vaults that do a systematic trading strategy that you will implement using perps. In that case, you are building on top of the perps primitive, and you can get integrated. You want to get the max attention from the community, the existing community, and you will integrate your Canton vault into the Rujira.network/strategies/Canton vault, and you will have your product in there, and it's under background trading on perps, doing some specific stuff you wanted to do. That's one way of integrating, and then you are in the same unified ecosystem, and that's a great way to distribute and create a great user experience. But then there is the other side of that. You could also say, oh, I just want to have a different branding for the front end, so not be integrated into this UI, and then you could just fork the relevant part of so the perps part of the UI of Rujira and redo it with your own Canton branding. And in that case, you will be using the same core primitive in the backend. You will be using the perps smart contract and the perps liquidity, and you don't need to have to bootstrap your own liquidity and fragment the liquidity. And now when people want to provide be a market maker on the perps product, they have to choose between, am I going to deposit into a perps market making vaults from Levana or one from Canton? No, it's the same smart contract with the same liquidity actually, but you have a different front end and you charge maybe your own fee on top, or you just take a cut of the fees. You don't have to spend any work on smart contract unless you want to add some additional feature on top. In that case, will be fine. But so the core primitive is still the same perps built by perps dex built by Levana. And so you have just two different things. Either you build on top and you integrate it to the UI, or you can fork the UI and create your own and add an affiliate fee on top and take a referral fee. Those two models are possible, and those are two different ways to have a competition.
And Rujira would be happy with both those ways. You don't really care which way, either way.
Yeah, I think for us, the unified UI is a big plus, but you are totally free to go create your own UI and actually use the referral model. You don't have to care about anything at the smart contract level about finding liquidity or all those things. This will be under, you can create an interface to deposit liquidity in the pool, but there will be the same pool, so you don't fragment all that. And all of that, the revenue you generate, you take your own share because it's your own brand with your own affiliate fee and your own referral fee. But there is a big share of the fees that go back to Ruji and to THORChain, and we all grow together. And I think that's really the end vision here, what I'm trying to say, and all of us actually have been, I think, in different way trying to say, we are all part of the same team, the same economic unit. We are here. We are not competing. We don't want to create this internal competition and fragmentation that will lead to suboptimal user experience. We want to create an ecosystem that is as good as possible, that can have different front ends to express different vision and things, but at the end, don't fragment the liquidity, offer the best possible execution for users, and compete with alternative ecosystem. We want to compete with the Ethereum's money markets and perps, and we want to compete with Hyperliquid, and we want to compete with Solana. And that's really the thing. Like, we want to see THORChain. We are all part of the same THORChain family. THORChain starts to expand with this Applayer. This Applayer has Ruji as the base layer of that has been building all those smart contract infrastructure and all those connections with the base layer and all those first core primitive. And then it has new teams building on top of that may have also their own token with their own economic and contribute to growing this overall economic activity on top of THORChain, which in turn generate more fees, more volumes, and more revenue for both THORChain and Rujira. And we allow us to compete with the best possible experience with alternative L1. So the competition is really at the L1 level. Like we are the THORChain ecosystem building the centralized finance of tomorrow, and Solana is trying to do the same, and so is Base and Ethereum, and that's where really we should unite and try to fight. It's not creating internal wars and frustrating devs and pushing away hyper talented people like Codance because so we show basically no respect for all the hard work that been put there. No, it's collaborate, work together to actually grow the total pie that THORChain covers in terms of economic activity, and the real competition is alternative layer ones.
So if I fork the code to make Kenton perps my own interface, Rujira is happy with that because they're still funneling through Rujira. You're getting paid. That's great. So then am I able to kind of tweak the parameters on the perps, like have different like leverage ratios, different liquidation levels, different interest rates, whatever in my own version? Or is it I'm using the exact same primitive, the exact same perp contract that Levan and anybody else would be using? I'm just putting my own front end on top of it.
So you will be you can do two level here. You could, the simplest one is you will be using, in any case, at the core you will be using the same contracts, which has one set of parameters, and so you will be constrained to that. It will be just a UI, but you can still, you could deploy some of your own smart contracts to add certain feature on top of it. For example, I don't know, if you wanted to do something much more risky with Andre, like let's say Levana can allow do, I don't know, 20x leverage, and you want to do 100x leverage, then maybe you can build on top and have a contract that's with its own liquidity provider, very degens type of thinking that will create some form of loops and amplify the position you have on the base perps product. And I don't know like how this would be working, but you can do something like that. Like you can build new smart contracts that build on top of the core primitives and expand functionalities.
Okay, well, this is making sense. Like I think that's all great. Like maybe we're saying the same thing differently, same thing but different. Like what I want is there to be multiple front ends. Like if it's like if it's just Rujira.com and that's the only way to access Applayer, I'm like, well, I feel like that really limits ourselves. I totally understand having everybody funneled in and having the same, grow the pool of liquidity as big as possible. But like to that point, we should have 1,000 different front ends all funneling into the same pool of liquidity. Like why limit it to just one?
Exactly. For me, that's why I'm so keen on this referral model, which I think is in a way more powerful than the affiliates, because you can do that. We actually will encourage easy competition by not having forcing the front end to charge more for the end user, and that I think is very powerful. I mean, it's powerful at different level because it's also powerful in the sense that it allows us to replicate what centralized exchange do with key opinion leaders that get us referral codes and can just go and say people, hey, use this code, and now you get they get 10% of the fee and they drive traffic. But you can do that either at an individual level that drive traffic to the main Rujira.network app, or you can spin out your own front ends if you're a bit more technical and have your own branding and still offer the same price for the end user and add if they use your protocol to add liquidity in those perps landing pool, for example, they still add to the same pod. So yeah, I think I'm glad that's why I wrote there. I'm glad that you start to see things the same perspective we do. Like it's really you can have the competition, but you don't need to duplicate the fundamental primitive that allows this competition to foster.
Yeah, because it's like it's no different than having competition with THORChain. Like someone can fork the THORChain code and go start the exact same thing, right? But how do they get liquidity? How do they get integrations? Blah blah blah. Like THORChain has a natural monopoly already, and so if I'm understanding Rujira right, like when you guys launch and you get all this stuff going, you're gonna have a natural monopoly already. Like even if we made the rev share 0, there might nobody nobody might even bother making another like parallel app layer because it won't make sense. You may as well just use Rujira, like because everything is built, everything is there. Just go build on top of that, right? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, yes, but I think actually there will be also interest from because THORChain has actually a ton of different front ends currently, and I think there will be interest from those front ends which have their own user base to also integrate with expand their functionality and integrate with the core of Rujira, and they can do that, and they can do that at zero extra cost if they want for their end user via the referral model, and monetize that without having to care about any of the smart contracts, getting the liquidity and all those things. So really, the two models are possible, and I think we should encourage the two model very much.
So then, is it better for me to think about like look at Nine Realms and they write all the code for THORChain, and they're getting 5% of the 5% of the revenue goes to a dev fund, which is all going to Nine Realms right now, and that's how they're getting paid. Is a way to think of Rujira as basically like that 50%. How do I say this? Like you guys get. Sorry, I'm getting tripped up in my own mind, I think. So you guys, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I see where you are going. Like, yeah, it's a bit different because we have it's just a different economic construct effectively because we have our own token and that's
yes,
we get paid with the share of revenue that from all the economic activities that happen inside the smart contract we developed on top of THORChain, and whether this economic activity come from our own UI or from third-party UIs or from people who build additional feature with new smart contract on top of the core primitive. At the end, it all flow back to Ruji and to THORChain. And I think effectively what you like, the long term, there was one thing GP suggested in the very early day, which was like merging the app layer and the base layer. And I think honestly, like it will long term, it could make sense because it will solve a lot of this type of conversation because we feel like we are part of different community with different token and different value accrual. If you were to put everything together, then THORChain, effectively, you will need to find a way, like a mechanism to do that. But then you will have just one token, Rune, and 100% of the revenue from all those apps will accrue to Rune. And that's, I think, and then you could have like a model with a 5% similar to now, share going to the team maintaining Rujira, and that would be another valid model. But I think that's a good thought exercise because imagine if that was the case, then you will definitely not want to have like 20 instances of different smart contracts doing the same thing on the app layer. If it was all anyway flowing back to just one token, which is Rune, you will want to have just one of everything that is as good as it can, and then just the same expansion via those alternative front end, just like for cross-chain swaps.
Okay, I get it. I'm getting it now. So like, imagine if Nine Realms had its own token and it was collecting 5% of the revenue from THORChain, and that's how they're getting paid to write code for THORChain. Ruji, you guys have your own token. You're getting 50% of all the fees on Applayer. That's how you're getting paid to maintain and develop Applayer, which is basically just another. Let's just call it, like you said, like it's another. Nine Realms might be managing, say, half the code. Now with Applayer, you guys are managing the other half of the code, and that's how you're getting paid to manage that half of the code. Is the revenue split on the Ruji token? Is that right?
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, effectively, that's it. Yeah, and you could totally have a model where there is no Ruji token, there is just a Rune token, and the team maintaining it get paid instead via a split similar to the 5% going to the dev funded to Nine.
Okay, so then having other maybe this is where maybe there's some friction between all of us. Is just maybe I'm conflating the term app, or maybe others are. Like there's difference between app layer and apps. Like it's like I'm viewing Ruji like excuse me, sorry. like one interface, and like Trust Wallet is one interface in THORChain. But really, Ruji is more like is THORChain, and we can have thousands of different interfaces going into Ruji, just like we can have thousands of interfaces going into THORChain. Like Ruji is THORChain. It's the same thing.
Exactly. It's an extension of the capabilities of THORChain. And I think the confusing part as well here is THORChain doesn't have its own UI. So you only have the third-party UI. The difference is Ruji has those two parts. One part is really the smart contract infrastructure part, those core primitives that we have deployed that extend the capability of what you can do inside THORChain. And then we also have our own front end, the Ruji UI, where we try to offer this Binance-like experience with everything under one roof, and where all builders in the ecosystem that build on top of those existing core primitive can come and integrate into this one nice place. But it doesn't mean that it's the only place where you can put your product. You can also have all the other UI integrating that. When you think of Index, for example, they will now be in Rujira .network main UI, but they are building on top of the existing core primitive. But you could totally see a Leodex or THORSwap also integrate with Index to expand the product offering for their own captive user base.
Okay, so just like it doesn't make sense having multiple 9 Realms teams all competing for what code gets on THORChain, we shouldn't have competing Applayer dev teams competing for what Applayer code gets put on THORChain. Is that a good right analogy?
You would not want to have like 3 different THORChain team building 3 different set of base layer pools and 3 different set of swap routers. Yeah. Now, like when people come on THORChain, they have to decide, oh, am I providing liquidity in this BTC rune pool or this other BTC rune pool, which for the end user does the exact same thing, so allow you to swap BTC to rune or the other way around. But now the liquidity is fragmented between those different instances. Now you want just one team that builds the best possible base layer pools and the best possible swap router to allow liquidity flowing between those different pools. And then you want other teams to come and either just offer an interface to actually access this liquidity and this cross-swap pool, and potentially build on top of that to increase capabilities. And that historically wasn't really possible on THORChain because THORChain did not have this Cosmosm smart contract layer. Now it has it with the work we have been doing. But this means that we can now be much more expressive, and you could have like a front end that comes, but that will also add its own DCA strategy on top of it, and now you can do a DCA in THORChain, tapping into THORChain liquidity, but from a specific front end. And maybe that's the way they differentiate themselves, and maybe that's also how they monetize on top of an affiliate fee that they may charge on the standard cross-chain swaps.
Yeah. So then, how do we differentiate between Applayer, the code, like the another piece of just a piece of THORChain, and new platforms being built on top of it, like still on top of Rujira? What do we call those?
So that's a part of my job, like outboarding teams, making sure there is no duplicate, and like we are reviewing, triaging, and we have different paths effectively, and you can either so at some point I'll publish that. It's still not public because just the funding part is still unclear, but we have effectively a different path for builder. You have a total of 5 possible builder paths. The first one is joining the Ruji Alliance. So to get there, you are actually building a new core primitive that does not exist, and that adds that extends the capability of what you can do on THORChain, on the Applayer, without competing with any of the other core primitives, so no duplication. Then you can be a value-added application building on top of the core application, and that's where I think we will see the most growth and the most economic activity. We want, like, you have for example the order book DEX and the money market, but then you could have a protocol that comes and that is going to build specific market making strategies that add liquidity to the order book and maybe use some leverage to hedge their position or use perp to hedge their position. And they are going to bundle that into a product and charge their own fee on top because they are providing a value added services for their users. And that's great. That's exactly the type of team we want to involve. And they will be not competing. They will be adding value on top of the core primitives. And whenever somebody uses the product of those apps can have their own token and keep 100% of their revenue. But under the hood, every time they transact, they use one of the core primitives, which share the revenue 50-50 with Rujira and the base layer. And then we can have like a third set of apps, which we call like a differentiated but out of scope. So there might be some. So when you are in the first category, like the core primitive, strategic core primitive, your revenue flow directly to Rujira with a 50% split to THORChain. You can have a third category where you have some teams that do something completely different, but for some reason we don't want to integrate them inside the Rujira alliance. Maybe, I don't know, it's a gaming protocol or something that we deem not critical, but that has a right to exist on THORChain, and then they can launch as an independent project. And then you could have, in theory, competing app directly with the core primitive, but that's what we are trying to avoid. And that's, if you let that happen, that's how you start to just get duplicate of the order book and duplicate of those liquidity pools and fragment everything again, which is what we don't want to do. And the fifth category is just public good, and that's just anything that doesn't necessarily generate revenue for anyone at first, but add value to the ecosystem.
Okay, I think I understand. Like, I agree. It makes no sense to have multiple Bitcoin pools on THORChain. That's ridiculous. So you're saying on Rujira, the same thing. It doesn't make sense to have like multiple pools of liquidity. Everyone should be funneling into the same one, and different front ends can offer slightly different things, or even the exact same thing as another front end, but so long as they're all funneling into the same pool of liquidity on Rujira. What Rujira, what you guys are more worried about is just like getting everyone onto that same pool of liquidity. You don't care what the different front ends do necessarily to get that liquidity there, how they interact with their users, just as long as they're all funneling into the Rujira pool of liquidity. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, that's all right. And we will, even with the referral fee, we are even willing to take a cut on the revenue we take to allow those alternative front end to compete without adding the cost as an affiliate fee on their user if they don't want to. So it's it's very much how we see things.
Okay, and then if you're like, you know what, guys, this rev share model between Rujira and THORChain, like, it's making it really hard to attract new interfaces, new users, whatever. We can obviously talk about reducing it or changing it or something like that. Because you would just pass on those savings to these new teams coming to build on top of Rujira, and hopefully incentivizes hopefully, by reducing the fees, you grow the pie type thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's so going back to this different pipeline. So that's where we will it's for category 3 that is particularly relevant. There are like ton of potential projects that don't have a particular reason to build on THORChain versus another ecosystem. I don't know, like imagine like actually a good example is a real world project. Like imagine, because eventually like I'm building like with a 10-year, 20-year vision, like what we are trying to do fundamentally is to build the rails for this alternative economic system for the world. And we want those rails to be on top of THORChain, so it's cross-chain and accessible from most of different source of liquidity or those different L1s. And eventually, we want to see real-world business that come and decide to also get plugged into this this Applayer, like a real business that choose to build on DeFi rail, not because they are a DeFi protocol, but because they just see the benefits of having access to a very way to raise capital and real-time accounting and transparency and all those great tools at a fraction of the cost it will be for them if they were to launch as a traditional business in the world. And if we want this type of business to come and grow. They won't be part of the Rujira alliance. They will have they will be very much. They will have their own token with their own economics, and they will raise capital via the Launchpad, and they should keep, in theory, 100% of their revenue. However, if they are doing something completely different from what we do with the core primitives, in theory, there should be a 50-50 split between their revenue and THORChain, and maybe actually 25-25, a part going to Ruji and a part going to THORChain. But if you think about that, it doesn't make any sense. We cannot, if you tell a business, oh, I want to come to deploy on chain because I want to reduce my cost and I want to access all those great tools, and you say, yeah, sure, come, but you have to pay 50% tax, we're not going to attract anyone. And so in that case, I think that's where it actually makes sense to just remove the concept of fee sharing entirely. And the way to see things is they will still generate value for Rujira and THORChain by just raising capital on the Launchpad, which generate fees with flow to the two protocols, and by then having their token, if successful, that is traded on Ruji Trade and generate fees, trading fees, which are shared with a THORChain based layer. And I'm talking about that because I actually have been speaking very recently with a team that does exactly that. A bunch of guys, they are called Real Finance, and what they do is they are a bunch of, they are operating in a very niche market. They are movie producers and they finance movie. And the way the financing of movie works is that they get in the real world some subsidies, or they call it tax credits, from some like the British Culture Committee or whatever. And they have a commitment that if they deliver the movies they want to produce in 1 year time or whenever, the government will pay back X million of capital. But it's the funds are locked into an escrow in the real world, and you can only access once you have delivered your movie. And so they need bridge financing to do that, to just be able to have the capital to fund the movie before they get back the funding they receive from the government. And there are hundreds of millions that goes into this industry every year, and the banks charging those offering those bridge financing for this specific industry, it's very niche, and so it's very high pricing, and they often pay 20-30% APR on those bridge loan, while there is a very strong collateral which is issued by a government and that you are pretty sure to get back if you deliver your movie. So those guys, they wanted to come and build.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
They were in touch with us initially on Rujira. We have lost touch. They came back in touch now. They saw we are live on THORChain, so they are keen to come. But from the moment I told them, okay, but actually, if you were to launch in the current setup, you will have to share 50% of your revenue with THORChain and us. It's not going to fly. And so I think there will be cases where we have to completely get rid of this revenue share and just try to see the benefits that growing the overall economic activity on the network with real business brings to the entire ecosystem.
So keeping with that vein, if there was another platform with its own token, its own users and everything, and it basically wanted to clone one of the apps on Rujira and migrate their user base over, they'd be contributing. They'd be making the liquidity on Rujira deeper, which has been overall everyone involved, not just the new platform coming over. So they should be encouraged, right?
So that's the thing. It depends. If a team comes, but instead of they want to replicate, to fork our order book DEX and end up having a second order book DEX, then they fragment the liquidity, and that's what we are exactly trying to avoid. We don't want this fragmentation. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they come into Rujira and they're adding to the pool of liquidity on Rujira, but the exact same platform user experience as an existing interface on Rujira. But that's okay. We want that.
That's absolutely. If they if they have an existing front end, I don't know, Pancake Swap or whoever want to deploy on Rujira, but using our own smart contract infrastructure and our own liquidity, they are more than welcome to join. That's actually that would be great.
So I think for me, what hang up or hurt my brain is that viewing Rujira as its own separate entity it's its own, like, well, now I know the tokens moved on the THORChain, but like that is separate and distinct from THORChain. But if I think about it more like, it's actually more like 9Realms, like another developer team working on THORChain. And your token is just how you're getting paid. Like, I don't want to offend
I think that's
anyone,
good.
but in theory, like you don't need the Rujira token, right? Like if you were getting paid through the THORChain dev fund, might even.
Exactly. I mean, the history make it that we had our own investor, and we did funding anyway to be able to do all this building and stuff. So the token was the correct way of doing that. But and we came from a project that has its own token, so we are not gonna let anybody behind. Like we are ourselves incentivized, of course, in doing that. But we also have like a very strong, very active community. I'm sure a ton of people, like I see here, like they know me, I know them. We are all part in that together. They will be the first user of Rujira. They are the investors, they are the users. They are like the people we brought along this ride with us. And it was not even an option to not keep the token and do something. But fundamentally, yeah, if this would have started as a greenfield project with no pre-existing token and nothing, you could have totally had a model like just being built inside THORChain directly and funded via a share of the revenue, the same way the dev funds works with 9Realms. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and then
very much, yeah, Rujira is an extension of THORChain. That I think the right framing. It expands the capabilities of what you can do inside the THORChain ecosystem.
And then going back to Applayer being permissionless or not, like really the main reason for keeping Applayer permissioned would be to force everyone into the same pools of liquidity, that everyone's using the same primitives, right? We don't want people, just like we don't want people creating new Bitcoin pool on THORChain. We want everybody using the same pool. We want everyone using the same primitives on Applayer if they're going to integrate on it. We don't want people building multiple different instances of Applayer. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's totally correct. It's it's two things. It's to avoid fragmentation of liquidity, and it's to avoid also, to enforce the revenue sharing with the base layer. Because if you really are permissionless, then you can just deploy anything and don't put any revenue share.
But if we found a way to add some kind of fee on secured assets or do something like that, then
I think fee on secured asset will completely kill the baby in the nest, because from the moment, like as a user, if you know, oh, I'm gonna be charged, like my Bitcoin, my secured Bitcoin is gonna be charged an interest just to exist, use this Applayer, you're not gonna use it. You're just gonna move and use any other permissionless blockchain that allows you to have wrap BTC or whatever native token without any cost.
But let's just pretend we did find a way to build the fees into secured assets somehow that made sense for everybody. Then we could make Applayer permissionless because we would already have our built-in fees built in the secured assets somehow.
You could, but then that would mean you go back to the fragmentation issue, and the same way, like in that case, we could also like deploy you could allow other devs to come and deploy alternative liquidity pools, and now you have two Rune BTC pools on the base layer. And people have the option to deposit. That's you could do it, but then it become chaotic. And the reason it never happened is because it doesn't make sense. Like as THORChain, you are one unit and you want to have your liquidity used the most efficiently. And that's exactly what we want for the Applayer as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was going with. Maybe Applayer will never be permissionless, because the first reason to keep it permissioned is to ensure we collect fees somehow. But if we can solve that, so I'm just making this up, just pretending let's say we can solve that somehow in secured assets, and that's automatically predetermined, pre-programmed. We still want to keep Applayer permissioned because we don't want to create these multiple pools of liquidity. We still want everything. We want one source of liquidity for Applayer. So maybe Applayer never becomes permissionless. Maybe it's always permissioned.
Yeah, I think if to keep things tidy, you will always want to keep some form of permission. Otherwise, it's otherwise you go back to the chaotic Ethereum landscape, which has its own merits. But yeah, I think
I kind of.
Everybody has. I mean, just one of the things we liked a lot with THORChain with Fieldline is it's very much built as a business, trying to maximize cash flow and user experience, eventually maximize utilization and revenue generated for the token. And we really see ourselves as an extension of that with adding more capacity, but it should still be managed as a business with like a rational thinking. And one of the key things about that is an efficient use of liquidity.
Yeah, I think I'm inclined to think there'd be a natural monopoly anyway, just like THORChain. Like, it doesn't make sense to fork THORChain and build it all over again. You may as well just use and build on THORChain. So I think if Applayer, once it gets fully deployed and activity and there's usage, I'd be surprised. Even if it was, we did make it permissionless, I doubt somebody would create a total parallel one. I don't think it would make sense. You're better off just to stay on top of Rujira and use that, because the whole value add is the liquidity. You're tapping into that pool, that single source. So okay,
Yeah,
I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to understand.
We make it so easy that for sure, if it wasn't permissions, some people would just create duplicates, because I mean it's literally like a click away in GitLab.
Okay. So barrier to entry to create the code is very low. That's why there would be alternatives.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you see thousands of instances of Uniswap on Ethereum. Like it's super easy. Like once the code is open source, it's really like if you know slightly what you are doing, you can deploy in a few minutes, literally.
Can I interject here, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys, this has been an excellent conversation, and I've learned a lot. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Nami Protocol and Donago. I'm sorry we didn't get to you guys, but as a host, it's important to know when to interject, and it's also important to know when to shut the fuck up and just let the conversation flow. And this I actually learned some things talking to you guys. So I'm so happy this conversation had. And I think it's quite clear when it comes to just understand the nuances, and because this has never existed before. We're building this for the very first time. I think a space is absolutely a wonderful resource to understand where everyone's coming from. And it actually turns out that we all agree, you know what I mean? Or we just had to friggin' talk about it. And again, so I apologize to Nami and the other, but understand this needed to happen, and I'm so glad it did. I'm going to kick it to Boone. You've been very patient. Go ahead, Boone.
Yeah, also super grateful for this space. I've had a couple points. I'll try to remember them all. I guess I wanted to kind of clarify this recent conversation with Kenton and Pragmatic Monkey. One thing that I don't think has been addressed is like, okay, you say you want to keep all the core primitives unified, but like, let's say Kenton, he was talking about having his own perps protocol. What if he creates what he thinks is a better like implementation of perps? Like his math is better, it's more capital efficient or whatever, and he wants to deploy a different version of perps. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that's totally fair, and I think that's what GP adds in his in the ADR 20. It was some wording around that, like failing team or something like that. I think, let's say Levana doesn't deliver on perps, and in a year time or 6 months time, I don't know, it's not up to the level where people were expecting it to see, then we could totally entertain getting a new team to come and build something instead. And that's valid for any of the other primitives. And then if there is, like, if we see any primitive that is massively underutilized and not living up to the standard where you would want it to see, then onboarding new teams to replace make sense. But
sure, but okay, I guess then would just push back is like, why gate that up front? Like, why not just say, as long as your code passes audits and as long as you're doing the 50% rev share to THORChain, like, why shouldn't Kenton be able to launch Kenton perps tomorrow?
But because that's exactly what we are trying to avoid. Then you fragment this liquidity, and now people will come on the THORChain Applayer and they will have to choose, oh, do I deposit liquidity in perps with Canton, or do I deposit liquidity in perps with the Levana one?
Well,
And
okay, but I
now,
guess the counter argument to that is let the free market decide.
but yeah, but then yeah, of course, we can go back to a completely permissionless environment. In
Well,
that
it's not
case,
completely permissionless. It's still permissioned by the nodes. It still needs to be whitelisted. It still needs to do the 50% rev share. So it's not completely permissionless. But like, if Kenton thinks he has a better implementation than Levana, why shouldn't he be allowed to also compete with Levana? And I do understand, like, yes, I mean, it is better overall if capital is not split, and I agree, like fragmenting liquidity in a general sense, like, but you've said a number of times duplicate, but like what I'm talking about is not a duplication, it's like an alternate implementation. And so yes, it does not make sense to have two identical protocols and then split the liquidity. That's just dumb, obviously. But I'm talking about it's not identical, like there are, for whatever reason, meaningful differences, and then it's just like, well, let the users decide where they want to spend their liquidity. Why force them onto Levana?
yeah, no. So I think that, I mean, that's a valid point, and it's a business decision ultimately, and I think that's if we see, like, let's say if Levana is performing super well with their perps, like there will be no reason to create competition inside our own unit, which is, we are all part of THORChain. We are all trying to compete with Hyperliquid and whoever is the big perps on Solana. We just want to get the best possible perps experience on THORChain. So no fragmentation there. If it's lag, then we can say, okay, and Canton arrive and say, hey guys.
Well, okay,
I
but
think
what's the metric to determine if it's lagging?
yeah. So, but that's like, there is no clear KPI. It will be revenue. I think that's a usage revenue. That's
Well, right,
end
but like,
what,
what's the like? Is like, I mean, is earning 100K good or 1 million? Like, I mean, like, I'm just saying,
Well,
why centrally plan this, and why not just say, oh, okay, if someone can create a better, I mean, like, I mean, I think you got like. First of all, I think some people think I'm against Rujira. I'm not. I'm super in favor, but I'm more in favor of the principles of decentralization and permissionlessness. And I'm definitely, I favor THORChain, right? And so I think it is to THORChain's benefit to allow different different implementations of core primitives to exist on the app layer, and then the market can decide which is better, rather than you or whoever is deciding, oh, we choose Levana and no one else gets to do perps.
I mean, that's honestly totally fair. But then yeah, we go back to having, like, it's again like, either you go permissionless, and then we are just another
Well, it's not again, it's not
permissionless with
permissionless.
not fully permissionless, but permissionless with so there is still always some form of vetting process and fee share, assuming we can enforce that systematically. But you go back to yeah, then being just THORChain is like Ethereum, and it's a permissionless minus revenue share deployment environment, and you have all those different apps competing to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, but that's already happening. Like, I mean, what, like, Levana will be competing with Hyperliquid, will be competing with DYDX. Like, it's already the case. Like, I don't see why having two perps protocols on THORChain is any different than the fact that there's a ton of different perps protocols across crypto.
the
Well,
thing,
so the point is, it will be all open source. So instead of creating a different implementation of Levana, then what Canton could do is say, hey guys, come, I think I have a better implementation, and let's upgrade it, or I'm gonna do those push those changes in the code, and let's just make it better and work as a unique, as a THORChain nation, works together to create a better perps product that won't be fragmented inside our own ecosystem, but will be able to better compete with DYDX and Hyperliquid.
so
It's, I mean, I get exactly what you mean of having internal competition within THORChain, but yeah, I think it's really like just yeah, it's a different way of conducting the business. Like yeah, I don't have a perfect answer to you. It's like it's really a stand we have to take. Like, either we allow all sort of competition and we lose this benefit of just trying to act as a decentralized unit, but that coordinates to create the best possible product inside each vertical, and we move back to a system that looks much more like Ethereum, where we have a lot of different competition inside our own ecosystem, and which may not end up delivering the best possible
Well, but
competition
I don't
against
think
Hyper
the
Liquid.
picture you're painting would end up being how it is. I don't think there would be that much liquidity fragmentation. Like, I don't think we're going to see 10 different perps implementations for the exact reason that, like, there is a matter of efficiency due to deep liquidity pools. Like deep liquidity is its own moat. And so, like, capital will naturally, in a free market, coalesce in one protocol. I mean, if you look at like Uniswap on or Aave on Ethereum, they have the vast majority of the capital. Like they have de facto one. Like, yes, there are competitors, but they're not meaningful competitors. And so I imagine the same thing would happen on THORChain is like the capital, the market itself would choose one implementation and they would have a natural defragmentation.
Yeah, so I think we see things at different level. Like for me, like what I'm trying to push toward is we are one unit, and we want to, like, inside THORChain there is one perps that we try to work together to make better if the current implementation sucks, and another team may come and take over that. But the competition we are up against is external. THORChain is competing with Hyperliquid, with DYDX, which are each their own chain, with all the other decks outside of the THORChain ecosystem.
So the thing, sorry, Pragmatic Mind, go ahead. I'm sorry, you're breaking up. If you're trying to speak, I'm very sorry. So I think the thing that I'm trying to like convey to the audience here is I think of Rujira as THORChain. Okay, I don't think of it as Rujira anymore. All right, it's THORChain. That's what it is. It sources the same liquidity pools. Okay, and we already compete on a variety of different levels with the cross-chain space. And so Lavana going on THORChain, that is Kenton perps. That is whatever you want to say at the end of the day, right? Now, there is an argument to be made. Well, let the free market decide on, the implementation. But there's also the argument that if you do offer two products, then you are bifurcating mindshare, and you could be potentially limiting the success of the perps program on THORChain, which in effect would make it not competitive with the greater environment. Because again, we are already competing with other pieces. So what I would like to see, and this is why I was mentioned earlier, is about the marketing campaign, is that people like Kenton and maybe Scorch and even Boone, you guys are core auditors of things, of what's going on their Applayer, what's going on THORChain, I should say, right? And it's just a ruthless meritocracy in that way. But if we start Applayer with multiple perps programs, I'm siding with Pragmatic Monkey. I think we're stepping on our own dick, and it makes us harder to compete with the environment, which would mean that we would be inferior to the other markets relative if we had just unified under a complete suite, but also maintaining that if we have a marketing budget going to the Rujira app layer, then there's competition anxiety. We hold these people accountable. We hold the teams accountable, right? And that's my thoughts. That's why I'm worried, because I agree. I'm with Boone in the spirit of what he's saying, but I think with the unique implementation of what THORChain is with the app layer, I think it causes more problems than it solves. Because again, I think of us all as the same thing. We don't have more than one BTC pool. We don't have more than this. Streaming swaps work a certain way. I don't see why the primitives on the app layer should be any different.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, Boone, what I was telling Canton earlier, the good mind shift to do is imagine, like, if Rujira did not have his own token, it was really like just part of THORChain. Because for me, like, and I think for most people on this call, it's really how we see it. It's an extension of THORChain. But imagine, like, for a minute, that all the revenue was going to THORChain, was just part of the base layer with extended capabilities. You will not build two competing perhaps products inside THORChain, right? The same way we don't have two different Rune BTC pools and different implementation of the swap router inside the same THORChain. No, THORChain has its own implementation, which all together we work with NatReels, but with also other individual contributors work to try to improve to the max.
Just to push back a little bit, like, actually THORChain is exploring different versions of liquidity provision on the base chain. Like we're going to have the base layer order books, and then there's been some talk of like doing like a Uniswap v3 style concentrated liquidity position. So actually we will be competing with ourselves. Like I mean, like I'm just saying different implementations. There's a value in innovation and doing different things differently, and like
but that's actually exactly what I'm saying. It won't be competing with itself. It's improving the same product. Thus, the rapid swap order book, if you call it, it's not really an order book, but rapid swap or a concentrated liquidity version, at the end will all be still sharing the same pool, the same liquidity, and there will be just one swap router that's just get the best possible
well, right,
quotes.
but like I don't disagree with you, but I guess my point is like if the Uni V3 concentrated liquidity is just more capital efficient and it's better, it will siphon off liquidity from the AMM pools, which is fine because they're all part of THORChain, and so it doesn't matter that we're siphoning liquidity from ourselves. I agree with you, but like that's exactly my point. Is if someone creates a better perps implementation than Levana, THORChain doesn't lose. Like it still stays in THORChain. So like, why not allow different implementations as long as they're doing the 50% rev share with THORChain?
Well, so that's what I mean. Like you could the same way. You don't like those pools. Those like the rapid swaps. It will be an improvement on the existing THORChain base layer pool infrastructure, and that's how I see it. Like if somebody has a better implementation, that's great. Let's come and let's upgrade the open source code of Rujira perps to make it more
Sure.
efficient. It's create an
Well, yeah.
alternative pool there.
Right,
But
but like if someone
let's
is, I mean, like you guys have, like Levana, right, has done the work to build out their implementation, and they're going to get paid, I think, by their how much Ruji they hold, or I think that's my understanding is correct. But like, if someone else does all the work to create a new implementation, how are they going to get paid for the work they did to do their implementation? If they're like, is Levana going to pay them to like take over their code or what?
Well, I think, okay, I think what's going on there though is if you have another team with a different perps mechanism, the only reason you can determine it's working in the first place if it's functioning in another ecosystem on another blockchain. Like you're not going to just look at code and say, "Oh, this is obviously better." You want to understand the behaviorism of that code, right? And
Well, I
so
mean,
if that is the
Hyperliquid, that's
case,
what Hyperliquid did. They're like, we can do it better. And then they launched their own thing and it just
right,
was better.
right, but why not? If that is the case, let's go to your point, Boone. If there is a better implementation that's out there thriving in the blockchain, then you can update the open source code to reflect that design. But that has to go through the governance program of like THORChain itself. That's people like you and Kenton and Scorch and whoever else saying, look, Levana's design is inferior to this primitive. We need to upgrade it or modify it to look like this primitive. That's going to give us more revenue.
Well,
Because
all right, but like
ultimately,
all of these primitives at one point didn't exist elsewhere. Like someone just invented them. So like that's and I'm not even saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying like why not be open to the possibility of just like some, you know, super genius being like, "Oh, I've discovered better math and like a better perp protocol and it doesn't exist anywhere else." Why can't they launch first on THORChain?
But they could launch on THORChain, but they could do it instead of doing it as a separated siloed app. They could just do it as an improvement of the existing code or a
Yeah, but it's
complete
unproved.
refactor.
Like,
Of
why would Levana rewrite its code for an unproved protocol?
wait a minute. I have an idea. Right? Isn't Maya protocol going to add the Applayer? Fuck it.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I was gonna come to. Like one thing at least GP mentioned is that eventually Maya protocol will have a permissionless, real permissionless, most likely Applayer. So there you will be able to do all sorts of experiments, and that could be the ground to where people can just experiment and try to develop new things. And by the way, they can do the same also on StageNet if they want. And then we can have like once there is a proof that something is better, it can graduate and be incorporated into THORChain. And if for like if there is need of funding and all that, we have this builder incentive pool. And we will be using tokens from this pool to reward this also new team coming on board and contributing revenue to Rujira.
Yeah, because I agree with Boone in the terms of I don't want to limit the innovative spirit of people on the Applayer. I totally agree with you, Boone. But I think that's a good middle ground, no? If like my protocol had their own implementation of the app layer, and then, you know, like you can just be a cowboy over there and do the Wild West, and that would be a great playground for that. I mean, we could have the best of both worlds, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like,
experiment on Maya and graduate to THORChain. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I can come across as antagonistic, but like that's not where I'm coming from. I just like hopefully like I just really believe in the general principles of the crypto space of being, you know, permissionless, decentralized, and so like I mean, you know, I think to step back a second, part of the reason this space, you know, has been a little tiny bit contentious is because I think different things were told to the THORChain and the Rujira communities. Like, I mean, I was very strongly under the impression that the app layer would be permissionless, and that's apparently not the case. And so, like, I felt a sense of like being hoodwinked or whatnot, and so that's, you know, partly where this is coming from. But like, I want Rujira to succeed. I mean, I think it's a great innovation. I think secured assets are the best custodial solution to especially wrap Bitcoin. I think, you know, to do Bitcoin on like DeFi on Bitcoin, I think secured assets and Rujira will win. I think it's better. It's like the most trust decentralized implementation of custodial assets. But at the same time, I do still have my values of permissionlessness, and so hearing that we're going to gatekeep access to THORChain's app layer, that's against the ethos that attracted me to THORChain. But like, you know, at the same time, you know, like, so instead of the app layer being cross-chain Ethereum, it can be cross-chain Binance, and like we can, you know, gatekeep. Like, I'm not trying to like fight everybody. I do want to put forth my values and vision for the app layer.
No, and I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're speaking out. And I think what's clear from this space on many different levels, myself included, Kenton, everyone, Pragmatic Monkey, it was just a lot of confusion. And I think that ties back to the chaotic period that we all found ourselves in with the exploited funds going through THORChain. We had to do like an ethos gut check all of a sudden. We had the THORFi implosion. We had teams moving in 100 different directions. So that's why I'm so glad we're doing the space, is to kind of consolidate. Because I'm glad you're speaking out, Boone, because your point is a good one. I think it's something worth considering. I think we're going to actively figure this out together, honestly. And I go back and forth a little bit because I'm on your side, Boone, on that front of permissionlessness. I love that. But then I have to square my own values with the design features of the app layer, which then I kind of counter. I go back and forth a little bit. So I'm totally with you. We have a couple speakers coming up here.
Maybe just one quick thing. Like I think it's really like thinking at which level do you think? Either you see the app layer and THORChain as a single economic unit competing with other layer one, and your permissionlessness is you can permissionlessness copy paste the code of THORChain and fork it and do something different, or you want to expand THORChain as just a generalist layer one with a lot of different apps competing, doing similar things, and then it's just a different design. But I think the two are not incompatible. Again, like I mean, I don't know, like I'm not sure if we understand each other, but for me, the same way that we are not creating two Rune BTC liquidity pool on the app on the base layers that are fragmented. We are just improving the existing one with better algorithm to make the swap more efficient. We should aim to do the same thing with all the other functionalities that exist on THORChain, thanks to Rujira and the smart contract that it brings to the table, and try to improve each of those individual vertical as part of this one single core unit instead of starting to replicate. And if you want to replicate, then just fork the whole thing or go on a permissionless chain to experiment, or go on StageNet with real money and experiment there. And once you have something that is proven and that is worth the upgrade, then that's become there is a social consensus to go, like everything we do on THORChain, and it becomes the new standard, and we start to upgrade the existing perps vertical or whatever it is to this new standard.
Yeah, I think, yeah, as I said, I think there's both points and very interesting. And I appreciate everyone's perspectives up here. I'm going to go ahead. We got 2 new speakers here. Shock Rocket, you were up here first. I don't know if you want to interject, and then I'll go to Al. Go ahead, Shock Rocket, if you can hear me. I'm going to give you a few seconds as you run back to your phone, trying to start your speaker. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. Yeah, so let's say I am Uniswap or PancakeSwap, some big entity. I've got my hands full with work, much like all the teams on Rujira have their hands full with work. Or maybe I'm a big influencer, trader that has a big following. But I want my own perps platform. The Ruji Levana can be forked, as it was mentioned, but I don't have the time or ability to do that. Is there an opportunity for Rujira or anybody to offer like a white label service? A
So
perps as a service or DEX as a service?
it will be so you will have to do the work. Like you have somebody that knows a minimum of code to do that, but it will be built in once we implement this affiliate and referral model I was mentioning earlier. All the code is open source, so you can very easily come and fork the front end part of it, change the branding, change the name, and just tap into the existing smart contract infrastructure and the existing liquidity, and launch your Shock Rocket platform. You can either do that and just so with minimal work, just trying the branding and take a referral fee, which is directly taken from the protocol revenue. So your end users won't pay anything more than if they are using the Rujira.network front end, but you get a share of that by driving traffic into your front end. Or you can do that plus add an affiliate fee on top if you have a captive audience that is willing to pay a bit more and don't know that there are alternative front ends that don't offer this extra fee. So that will be totally possible, yeah. And that's something we even encourage. Like that's why we put this. We want to build this referral model that takes the fee from the protocol side instead of just adding it on top, like the affiliate fee on THORChain.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, Al, I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to you. Go ahead.
Hello, guys. I'm Alejandro from Rujira. This is a great
Love
talk.
to have you here, mate.
Hello, man. I don't know if you already talked about it because I just hop in, but there's also an UX thing about duplicating products. If we really want to compete with Binance, Binance is a product suite that has one product or one feature for each thing. So if we really want to compete with Binance, my thought is that we should be like them. I mean, we have to be a product suite and compete with Binance, with Hyper, with whatever it is, but no internally. Don't have duplications in our product suite, because if that happens, we won't be a Binance. We would be a generic blockchain where everyone could deploy their product. So my question is, do we want to be the decentralized Binance or not?
Yeah, this conversation has gone back and forth on that point, that has been touched. It's one of the things. It's like if you offer a unified product suite, there is huge advantages to that. But people like Boone and Kenton and some others, like, are we limiting the efficacy or the growth potential by doing that? So that's go ahead, Boone.
Yeah, we've been going around in circles, and this is the last I have to say. But just to kind of so, for example, the Rujira front end has that centralized suite of products that you're talking about, and also no other perps product is available to launch. Like, there will be a huge natural moat to Levana perps, right? It'll be integrated into the Rujira front end. There's Ruji Trade, Ruji Pools, Ruji Perps. It'll be right there, and so all of the mind share and attention will all be funneled to Levana perps. But like mine's like, because it has that moat, like, does it really matter if someone wants to try to compete? It'll probably lose. All the liquidity will already be on Levana. Like, all the mind share will already be there. Like, if someone wants to compete, why stop them? And that's like just really, that's like the permissionlessness. Because like I don't really think it'll be a valid competition because of the moat. But it's like, why not let them try?
Yeah, and I think one of the hard things about this, because this has never existed before, right? Like everyone in here understands this is a 0 to 1 in terms of what we offer. And we have to make arguments based on tautology, right? We have to use logic and we have to try to predict what's going to happen in order to like set a framework in our mind. I think what's probably best, you guys, is maybe just to see what actually happens and take it with the flow. And that's why we're going to do regular speeches or spaces, excuse me, to take it as we go, because there might be a team that pops up and then it's like, well, let's talk about it, because, or maybe like people will, Levana will be so successful, or liquidity, or whatever, you know, NAMI protocol, doesn't matter, whatever the premise, and there may be no competition that arises. That might literally happen. So it's an interesting conversation, but I think we're a little hamstrung because it's very difficult to parse what actually was going to happen, because again, we have to revert to tautology when we're thinking about these things. Al, are you trying to raise your hand, or is that a bug? I'm not sure. Al, I'm giving you the floor. If you want, I'll give you a few more seconds. Sometimes it bugs and looks like you're putting your hand up and down rapidly. Okay, I'll go ahead. Al?
Yeah, go. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the hand thing, that drives me nuts. I never know what the hell's going on. Go ahead, Kenton.
I was going to say, bring it back. I think Pragmatic Monkey said that the handshake deal was to have basically no competition for a year and then open it up. So it's not like, you know, if there is no competition, it is forever. You know, that was never part of the deal to begin with, which I'm fine with. That's you know, kind of was talked. I mean, I have no problem honoring something like that, but I just think it should be stuff like this should be documented. I don't think it should just be kind of figured out as we go. Like if we have things sorted out and agreed upon, we should just have it written down. And
Sure.
especially if there is competition, like somebody doesn't want to do something different, they can or not in competition, but somebody wants to contribute to THORChain. It's good to have a record of all this stuff, right? So that they're reading through and they're learning and they're trying to like get up to speed. Like it's good. It's good to have all this stuff written down.
I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with your point. Hopefully I hope I didn't make that point. It's a lot of things to put in your mind to accurately describe, you know, everything that's going on here. So okay, dang guys, that was a very epic conversation. And you know, Kenton, to kind of bring it back a little bit, that's kind of like why I really want to do marketing. Like I am so in camp of the marketing camp right now, and I want to have the THORChain, like the aggregate revenue, to go, and because I want to push the Applayer as hard as possible. Because I had a conversation in Las Vegas, and I remember we talked about like, you know, how are we going to increase swap volume on THORChain, right? And we had talked about, well, maybe we just tell people to use like Trust Wallet and to use swaps. You know what I mean? But you know, there's something that I've been thinking about. I kind of figured out is that like some of our competition, they use optimistic quoting, which that's a problem, right? Something that I'm not very happy about. And so it's like, well, shit. If we try to promote swap volume on other wallets, we might be getting beaten out by a competitor, but they're not using correct data, right? That's a first principle problem. So what I'm thinking, man, I'm thinking that the marketing, actually, we punch it right into Applayer, because that is solid THORChain swap. That's all THORChain swap volume, right? And that's what really is going to get, I think, the wheel going. I wonder what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts. So I know you're talking about the optimistic quoting, and I've talked to some few people about that, and I think that will eventually sort itself out. So I wouldn't worry about that if I were you.
Can I
I
add
think
something there?
sure.
So unfortunately, some interface, I'm not going to say names, but there's some, and they kind of let it slide a little bit. So I think we're going to have to make a stink about it. Go ahead.
I know, but I've had conversations, like private conversations, like people are becoming aware and want to fight that. like front ends, don't want to support that. And if there's evidence or whatever, they will do what they can to stop it. So I'm hopeful that that can be sorted out. But as far as like marketing and stuff, so I agree. We definitely 100% we need marketing guys. I'm working on it. I've run into a bit of a snag on what I'm working on. Just a hurdle. We'll get over it. We'll get moving again. But I'm still working on that behind the scenes. And my whole view with marketing is that it's not to promote THORChain. It's the front ends have to promote themselves, right? And I would apply that same concept to Applayer on THORChain. Like, it's not about promoting Rujira, it's about promoting the front ends to Rujira. And this is where I'm coming from with the point of having competition is like, we don't want just Rujira.com. Like, we want a million websites funneling into Applayer, like Rujira, right? And like, I don't know if you guys have, there's like an interesting case study. If you know, Payless shoes, it's shoe store in the US. The shoes are like $20, $30, maybe 50, like they're pretty cheap, maybe $100, the most expensive shoes. And then they did like a pop-up shop. They just like kind of made this like makeshift pretend, you know, high fashion shoe store, you know, spelled SHU or something stupid silly. And all the exact same shoes from Payless, the exact same shoes, they just put them on like different pedestals and different different branding in the store, and the shoes are selling for like 500. They're labeled $500, $600, $1,000, and they're selling them off the rack. And people are talking about how amazing these shoes are and how high end they are and blah blah blah. They're the exact same shoe that Payless is selling in another store for $20. And it's a commentary on marketing and branding, and you know how people think. Like, people don't look at the shoe and think, oh, this is the exact same shoe in Payless. It's for $20. I'm paying $500. That doesn't register in their brain, and that's not how they look at a product. The humans look at products based on branding and marketing, and that's my point with competition on Rujira, on Applayer, is like, we should have like 10 different websites, 10 different front ends, copy and pasting Lavana perps using the exact same code, putting on their own branding and marketing, and they're going to get different audiences and bring in more people. And if I understand correctly from our conversation today, that is real, that exists. That's going to happen. That can happen. We want that to happen. We just want it all funneling on to the Rujira pools of liquidity. You can have like dozens of different front ends doing the exact same thing. That's great. That's what I want. And then you know, maybe we pick one of those front ends, you know, maybe it's Lavana, and then you know, they're the most prominent one. And that's the one we promote, right? But like, just promoting Rujira Applayer is no different than promoting like THORChain. Like, it's too far removed. Like, we gotta promote what the actual user wants to do and is doing, right? And then that funnels into THORChain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's an excellent point. Man, humans are really silly creatures, I must say. But you make a solid observation and a great point there, and I agree with you. One thing I want to do real quick, Kenton, just because this guy's been so patient and we haven't got to him. Danogo, that's how you say a name, or Danogo, you can tell me. I want to give you the floor real quick. Go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Can you hear me? Sorry, my it seemed to be rubbing me.
Yeah, it's a little. It's okay. We'll deal with it. Go for it.
Yeah, so I want to ask the Rujira team, right? In terms of like lending, for example, can different front end come up with like slightly different economics for between supplier and lender, or all the economic between supplier and lender and borrowers are determined by smart contracts, and the front end are just, you know, putting on different cosmetics, but the economic between supplier and borrower are predetermined. Because, you know, if you think of is Rujira acting as a central bank, and different banks can actually operate on top of that central bank, or is Rujira the bank, and different front end are just like different branches of that bank?
So I take that one. You have the two models possible. Like at the basic level, you can just you'll be able to fork the front end effectively, or create your own ones and integrate in the same smart contract in the backend. What we want to avoid is the fragmentation of liquidity by having like tons of different liquidity pools for lending.
No, but I think I want to go to the question is the front end, is that just a different branch of the same bank, or is the front end can be a different bank that working off Rujira as a central bank? You know, like different bank can offer different interest rate to borrower, right? And you know they can have like different interest margin. So that's what I'm trying to ask.
If you do what I was explaining, the simple version is just the front end stuff. You cannot tweak the parameters of the contract and the interest curve and all that. It's one single contract. But then what you can do is build on top of that and have your own smart contracts that tap into the same liquidity, but maybe offer like a different interest rate curve. And maybe you add also an extra lending pool that just for your apps that may be taking more risk. I don't know if you want, for example, to offer like a two-tier lending system with a very fixed interest rate for a while, but if it goes above certain thresholds, then it goes to variable, and you can have like a new liquidity pool that acts as a buffer. And under the hood, you tap into the main liquidity of the main central bank of the main Rujira lending contract, but you add a primitive on top, another set of smart contracts that expands the possibility. So it's possible. It's more complex, but you can do both ways.
No, but I mean, so basically what you are saying is that Rujira is the only bank on THORChain, right? And everybody else can build, like, you know, can open a new branches for that bank, but nobody else can, you know, open a new bank with like different economic, you have like in the banking system, you have like merchant bank, you have retail bank, you have like different bank, like investment bank, right? Different bank operate in different ways. They take different interest margin, things like that, right? I mean, there's many different economics involved for different banks. That's why it exists. So what you are saying right now is that Rujira will dictate that, and there's nobody else can actually offer that, right? And everybody else can just have a front end, which is just cosmetic. You can have different bank teller, different bank branches, a different location, but you're not allowed to change the economics of the banks, right?
You could build on top of it. You could build something, for example, like
but beyond top is very different, right? Because say if you decide that the interest margin between the supplier and the lender is 5%, that means everywhere else will be on top of that will not be able to offer a lower than 5% interest rate margin between the supplier and the lender. Things like that, right? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Constrained by the liquidity in the
yes, so that's the issue as well, right? I mean, in a way that kind of kill off competition, right? How do we know that Rujira have the best economic design for the banking system for THORChains? Like, why are you limiting it? Another team from designing a different like economics for between supplier and borrower, right? You know, between the bank depositor and the bank borrower.
That's exactly the point that Bon was making. We try to avoid that, but then if you have like so first, if you have an implementation that is very different from what is going to be implemented in the current version, come and talk to us, and maybe actually it's different enough that it can exist as its own vertical within the Rujira Alliance, or maybe it's differentiated enough to justify launching as an independent app with your own token and your own economics. But you will have to have some form of revenue share with the base layer and with Ruji.
Can you fix your mic?
Yeah, sorry, can I just one last question, right? So, who decide on that? Like,
sorry guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Am I rugging?
I think it's you, Patriot. Yeah, yes, it's you.
I think it's
so can I ask the
Donago.
last question, right? Can you hear me now?
Hey, Kenton, can you try and say something? Eric, Chuck, I don't know.
I think it's Donago. It's feedback, and so is Mike. I think it's Donago.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're done talking, can you mute your mic when you're done talking?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So, I mean, the last question would be like, so who determine whether, say, Donago want to build a lending platform on THORChain, right? Which is slightly different from Rujira in terms of economics between supplier and borrowers, right?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Who's going to decide? Is it Rujira team going to decide? Is it Pragmatic Monkey, or is it the THORChain node? You know, like, so like where do we determine that, like,
So yeah, it's
is
a,
it
Rujira, it's a
better or not?
Rujira
Yeah.
team curating it, and I'm your first point of contact in this process. And yeah, that's how we will work for now, just to avoid this fragmentation, having like 20 things that functionally do pretty much the same thing. But if it's differentiated enough, we can definitely entertain having the Danogo money market as an alternative.
So right, I mean, like, so in a way that's a bit centralized, right? In the end, it's just you deciding, whether somebody is competing with you or not.
Yeah,
right.
that's
So
the vision.
that shouldn't be the way,
Well, it really depends. Like what we are trying to do is the Applayer is really an extension of THORChain, offering more capabilities, not a permissionless ground where everybody can do everything. Maybe it will move toward that at some point. I don't know, but at least not in the short term. But you can like deploy on StageNet, prove like what you are building, and if it's like differentiative enough, or we can add you to the Rujira Alliance, and you can earn a share of the builder incentive pool, or you could launch with your own token. Like it's not black or white. Like, but yes, there is a level of curation, and that's how things have been built to that point.
Donegal, I muted you. You have to mute when you're done talking. Please mute your speaker because there's all kinds of feedback.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. But like as a builder, like as a developer, nobody gonna build the full deck out and then waiting for like Rujira to decide to approve or not, right? You got to have
of course,
a previous agreement before that, before people go and build it. You know what I mean? So, and how do we know that the economic that Rujira design between supplier and borrower is suitable? Because like I think Kenton or Boone just mentioned earlier, certain suppliers, they only want to supply to us by a certain term and condition based on their own needs. That's why people deposit money in different banks, right? So, but why is trying to force everybody to deposit the same term that Rujira offer? So that's that's the question I'm asking.
But that's the whole point of this debate. Like, do we keep this curated set of application and avoid fragmentation inside our own nation, which is THORChain, or do we allow like a permissionless environment where everybody can do everything? But if you want to, for now, it's permissioned, and if you want to build something, like DM me and let's talk, and maybe there is something that is not competing directly with the current app, and that could make sense.
Yeah, thanks. I think just one last comment is I would totally disagree with the fact that if the app layers has different liquidity pool, it'll be fragmented, because actually it's very easy for front end to aggregate different pool from different smart contracts. We have seen that multiple front end have aggregate between THORChain and chain flips, and different. So, and on Ethereum there are multiple DEX aggregator. So actually, it's very easy for front end to aggregate from different liquidity pool, from different order books, to offer the user the best experience. Like even for banks, right? There are like front end right now to offer people with like multiple deposit option, multiple borrowing option. For mortgage, is the same thing, and it's already permissionless. The fact that you build a smart contract is already permissionless. Anybody else can build a front end on top of your smart contract. So I don't agree with the fact that if you're saying that there are multiple smart contracts, you've actually fragmented, actually is a bad user experience, because actually it's up to the front end to aggregate from different smart contracts, offer the best user experience to the user. And gatekeeping the smart contract level, actually, basically you are gatekeeping the economics of the bank. Basically, imagine America would have one bank with one policy on supplying and borrowing, and everybody else just have to follow it. Yes, I think that would be my last point. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the whole debate is about. Do we make it? Do we allow different apps to compete, or do we try to keep a coherence and have just one vertical for each type of things and try to improve those incrementally over time? Yes, that's the whole debate.
But I guess PM, I guess kind of in your defense, like you are open to being Applayer being permissionless in a year's time type thing, in the future, in the near future. It's just not now, just to start. It's better to get you guys off the ground without having to worry about anybody else. So Is that a fair statement?
Long term, yeah, it will be up to, at the end, the node operators really to decide on that. I think we always need a form of permissioning just to enforce this revenue share part and avoid it to become complete chaos where you have like potentially malicious apps being deployed. But yeah, eventually, like I mean, at least I'm just a messenger here. Like, but GPs as already mentioned that even in the long term it will become permissionless to a certain extent. I'm not sure we can make it fully permissionless, but it will be relaxed for sure.
I agree. It may not make sense to go totally permissionless. Maybe it should stay permissioned, but that'll be part of the learning process, I guess. Boone, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to kind of go back a little bit now to just the broader strategy. And I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little controversial, but whenever Rujira was first launching, they were going to have no affiliate fee on the base layer pools. And then the other front ends were like, whoa, 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 that's not fair. But I honestly think that would be great for THORChain. Like it would basically be a loss leader for Rujira. They wouldn't be making the affiliate fee on the base chain swaps, but by offering only the 10 bips that the base chain charges, they would draw a ton of activity to the Rujira, front end UI, and then people already be there, and then they'd be that much more likely to use all the Applayer apps on top of it, and then like THORChain could compete. And I think like ChainSwap, for example, they run their own front end in addition to their back end, and they don't charge any affiliate fees. So like the fact that the most user-friendly front ends all charge extra is actually a detriment to THORChain. And if Rujira did not charge extra to access the base layer, that would be a great loss leader and drive a lot of revenue and use for both layers. So that's my kind of controversial throw that out there. And that would be, yeah.
Yeah, so on that, I think the idea first, so I don't think we ever discussed not having an affiliate fee. We just never, initially, we are not planning to even have a direct front end for THORChain. We did more as a proof of concepts to experiment with all the components we have been building, the wallet connector and all those things. But for me, this front end we have, so first, we don't want to open an outright war by having a zero fee front end and compete with all those other front end, which eventually we actually want them to integrate with also the expanded capabilities that Rujira brings via smart contract to the ecosystem. So no willingness to just make a fee-free front end and piss off all our potential integration partners. I mean, anybody could do that if they want. They can fork the current.
Yeah, but I guess my argument is if we're going to consider Rujira and THORChain to be one thing, then why not have a zero affiliate fee? It would be better for it would draw more users to THORChain.
Yeah, but because for now there is still a different token accruing different fees, so it needs to also generate some value for Ruji. So that's a key component here, and another part of that is I was saying it was always temporary. Eventually, we are gonna have actually that's a big step next on the roadmap. This virtualization strategy that will allow us to tap into base layer liquidity from the Applayer. And once we do that, the most likely thing is that we'll turn the Ruji swap as it is now. It will not be tapping direct, like it will not be a typical front end of THORChain with an affiliate fee as it used to be before, but instead it will be tapping into the liquidity that exists in both the app layer and the base layer via the virtualization strategy. And every dollar of swaps generated with the base layer as counterparty is generating a dollar of volumes on the app layer. So you have like a direct revenue accrual for THORChain from that way. And we won't have an affiliate fee on that, but the market making strategy will take a little premium to what the base layer pool quote. So there will still be a little fee on top just because, we have to cover for the risk we take by front loading via this strategy the proceeds for the person who swaps, and then we have the risk as the price move in the backend on the base layer pool, and we don't get as much as we're expecting to repay the very short-term loan that was used to front pay the swap.
We had Phil join us here as a speaker. Phil, you got something to say? Something to add? Question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about integrations with other chains and how the process works, and if you guys have any plans to integrate with Cardano.
Oh, so that's a more of a question, like a THORChain level question. They are looking to integrate as much chain as possible in the next year. So Cardano, I think, will make total sense. I think it's already integrated with Maya protocol. So like I don't want to speak too much here because there is also like if you are on Maya, like maybe they want to keep some certain benefits, but fundamentally it should also be connected to THORChain at some point. Like, but that's really not my that's outside of my scope totally. So I don't want to speak too much about that.
The answer is yes, Phil. It's being worked on, and it's a perpetual. Everyone's always frustrated how long it takes to add new chains, but yeah, Cardano and other chains are being added. Tron, Ton, Solana has been 2 years now, and so it's always soon TM, but it is being worked on, and in parallel to everything else being worked on in THORChain. So the new chains are being worked on in parallel to Applayer. It isn't one isn't taking a backseat to the other. But Pragmatic Monkey, so a question for you. So if all the fees that are being generated on Rujira Applayer are it's 50-50. 50% is going to THORChain, 50% is going to Ruji token. So wouldn't you guys want to have like hundreds of different apps built on top of Rujira? Because even if some of them are duplicates, you don't care because you're collecting the fees from everybody. So don't you want everyone to build?
Yeah, if they build on top of the core primitive, 100%, we want as much as possible, and we want them to launch their own token via the launchpad, and we want them to prosperate. And yeah, exactly. What we want is teams that build on top of the core primitive. What we want to avoid is teams that functionally do the same thing, but just with a different set of smart contracts.
So going back to Kenton perps, I want to build that on top of Rujira. You're like, yeah, heck yeah. You don't care how similar, different it is in Levana. As long as I'm building it inside of Rujira, it's free game. I can go for it. I can do it. And
yeah, exactly. And again, like you have to, like if it's just like you just fork the front end and brand it your way, and maybe add an affiliate fee on top if you think you can still drive volume with that. Yeah, absolutely, go for it, and it's all great. It's all fair game. And if you want to add more advanced feature to differentiate, you can also do that. And it will all be very welcome if it's a feature built on top of the existing primitive. So I was mentioning earlier, if you want to do like vaults that implement certain systematic strategies that you are the brain behind, you could do that, and people could only, so you will deploy new smart contracts that tap into the perps core smart contract, but do more complex stuff, trading strategies in that case, and you could only offer that in your own Canton front end if you want, as a point to differentiate to drive traffic, or you could choose to also offer this specific product, also get it integrated in the Rujira.network UI, and have a different distribution network for your vault. So the two models are possible, and both are working are stuff that we really want to encourage effectively.
And when you say primitive, that'd be like one smart contract design, feeding into like if I'm using the same primitive as other front ends, we're all feeding into the same pool of liquidity because we're using the same contract, same smart contract.
Exactly. So one order book that pool, and for the order book, it's quite different because we have a lot of different, like it can take liquidity from a lot of different places. But one order book, one DEX protocol with its own liquidity pools, one money market, one launchpad. and then you can do whatever you want on top of that.
And then, okay, I'm hard-headed. I'm like, I got to do things my way. I don't want to use your primitives, your smart contracts. I want to come up with my own. I'm still happy to stay inside the Rujira Alliance and build on, give you your pound of flesh and everything, but I want to create my own primitive. You guys, you encourage that? You like, sure, go ahead, do your
That's
thing.
exactly what we don't want to encourage, unless, of course,
Okay.
we come up with something that is very differentiated and that's clearly like is a better version or add value. But I think this will have to be proven in some way. Like it has to be either you have already an implementation somewhere else, and or you're replicating an existing implementation of other protocol, and we can really see it's a better version of what we have. Then yeah, that could work. But if it's just duplicating things, that's what we've been trying to avoid all along with this concept of non-duplication.
But you'd still get your pound of flesh, Rujira. You'd still collect fees from that new primitive.
If you launch as part of the Rujira Alliance, yeah. And I mean, that would be, again, that's what is in the ADR 20. It could be actually something that we encourage if we see the core primitive you're trying to replace is failing. And I think it was Boone asking earlier, we don't have like hard rules around that. You will need to get to a social consensus. But if we see that clearly a certain product is below what we will reasonably expect, and in terms of revenue contribution versus other core verticals, for example, then that's totally something we could consider.
That's hard for me because in my mind, the way it works is the market, like kind of strong survive type thing, right? It'll force out the weak. So that's the advantage of competition. So it's kind of like with Bitcoin and fiat money. You know, why do we use a dollar? Why do we use fiat money? There really hasn't been an alternative. We're stuck using it. And until there's an alternative that we can actually viably move to, then we will. And that's not Bitcoin and crypto, right?
Yeah,
but if we wait to the dollar to fail to then build Bitcoin, it's like, launch, well, we're stuck.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm sympathetic to this argument, but again, like that's the whole thing of seeing THORChain as this one unit, with the Applayer being an extension of this one unit, and just trying to improve each of the vertical inside it, or and competing against other applications external to THORChain doing the same thing, or do we make THORChain a generic permissionless layer one, where a lot of things, a lot of contracts can be deployed that do the same thing? That's, I mean,
you just argued though that THORChain is not one unit, which was your explanation for why you shouldn't charge 0 affiliate fees.
Yeah, no, for now, no, but because that's also the point I was making earlier. I think in the long term, like, so GP has mentioned merging THORChain and Rujira, and for me, I think that's a good, like, that's a good way to frame things, to think about it. If we did not have two separate tokens, and it was just all part of THORChain, and everything was occurring back to Rune, then I think it would make sense not trying to have like two different competing perps platform inside the same.
Right, but you just like 30 seconds ago said that to look at THORChain as one unit. Like, you're arguing both sides. You're saying it's not one and it is one.
Yeah, no. So for now it's not one, but I think long term, like, it could make sense to make it one.
Well, so if it's not one, then it makes sense to have competing perps, like primitives.
Well, not if we take this view that even if we have different the reason it's not one yet and we have like a different tokens is because of the history of how we came together and how we migrated to become to come here and build this Applayer on top of THORChain. But I think having the vision that eventually we really become one unit is probably a good way to stop those endless arguments and align everybody behind the same value capture mechanism.
So I'm viewing different primitives, different smart contracts, like having different pools on THORChain. Like, I want as many different pools, like a Bitcoin pool, Ethereum pool, Ripple pool, Cardano pool. I see those adding value to each other. They're not taking from each other. So if there's two different primitives, like two different perp smart contracts, I don't see those as taking away from each other. If they're both on top of Rujira and you're getting paid, everyone's getting paid. I don't see. I mean, I get it. I understand that is now
Quinton, what we're talking
that is splitting liquidity. They're not contributing the same pool of liquidity. But that's up to the competitor. Somebody's coming up with the new primitive. If they want to
Is
take that
there
risk,
pools of
that's
liquidity?
their risk.
To me, it looks like an order book, right? Is there any pool?
I'm using Pragmatic
Yeah,
Monkey's
there is
terms
pools
here.
as well. Yeah. So we have. It depends on which product you are talking about. The order book for spot exchange is that you have two different components. You have an order book that just aggregates. It's acting as an intent matching engine, effectively aggregated liquidity from various different sources. And then one of the sources will be via a virtualization IMM strategy, the base layer pool from THORChain base layer. But also we will have a lot of different pools with different strategy, concentrated liquidity, standard XYK, and various other things that anybody can come actually and build more strategies that all add liquidity to the same order book. That's for the spot part.
Right. So with an order book, you actually do want as many competing order books as possible because it is sort of the same liquidity, right? Like what you get as market makers, which will just take a maker order on one order book and
so you
fulfill
mean you
it
want
with
as
one.
many source of liquidity as possible and one order book?
I mean, it doesn't matter how many order books you have at the end of the day because all of the liquidity is. If there's a competing order book, you can match across order books. Like that's exactly what happens in like for instance, you have the Binance order book and the Coinbase order book, and there's market makers that just facilitate trades between those two order books.
Yeah, but then so you fragment inside your own ecosystem. Like it's much more efficient to have one order book on THORChain that gather liquidity from all different sources, and then this one order book is the venue where you arbitrage against the Binance and the Coinbase order book. If you
but
when you say
there's no
so much,
fragmentation because at the end of the day, you just like they're all composable, right?
and when you say it's so much more efficient, like, do you have numbers? Like, how much is it? Twice as efficient? 4 times as? When you say so much more efficient, like what? How much?
so I really cannot quantify that, but it's like if you have one venue that has a much deeper liquidity because all the various intents of order from the base layer pools and different users and different strategy all go into that give you a much better visibility and chance and the volume opportunity to be used as a venue to trade against other major order books from centralized exchange, notably, than if you are like small fragmented little order book here and there, and it will be once in a while grab the arbitrage, and the other time it's a no.
But it won't be once in a while, right? What you get is DEX aggregators or order book aggregators that everyone trades on to get the best price anyway, right? And everyone trades through that, and when you trade through that, you'll get all the liquidity on all the order books.
Yeah. So again, like it's back to we will have you will have aggregators that aggregates liquidity from different sources, and do we want THORChain to have inside its own ecosystem a lot of different order books and liquidity and aggregators that aggregate that on one part, and there are other aggregators that aggregate across different chains, or do we want to keep everything united inside this ecosystem? I mean, yes, that has been the whole debate. Of course, like I'm in the camp of trying to keep everything as united as possible inside THORChain, and that's what was the vision we had and the deal we were promised when we came to build this Applayer. But eventually, we may open to more.
What were the terms that what were the terms of this agreement when you came to the Applayer? Like, I haven't seen this written anywhere.
It was 12 months exclusivity. I mean, it was just GP mentioning that, and I think it's in the ADR.
I mean, do you guys have a signed contract or what?
Yeah, it was a contract signed, but I don't know how binding is that because it wasn't signed with a decentralized protocol.
Could you share that somewhere, like outside of the space?
No, I'm not sure. Like I don't know. ask GP. I'm not gonna.
Well, I have asked. He's ignored me when I've asked him.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not gonna take this. Sorry about that. Like totally get how it is, but
Well, yeah, I mean, but you're like referring to an agreement that you're like, and again, you're absolutely right. Like THORChain or JP does not speak for all the Thor nodes, so yeah, I mean, I don't know how binding that agreement is, but like, I think this is a big issue. Is you guys were promised something that might not be the case, and I think that's an underlying driver of a lot of this confusion.
no, exactly,
Yeah,
and that's why
you don't
ADR20
want no
is
competition,
important. But
right? Like competition is what drives innovation, and if you have just one protocol that everyone has to go to, then there's no reason for that protocol to innovate and compete. When you have multiple, like that's what breeds people to innovate and push their fees lower, etc. Right? It's like
of course, I mean
anti-monopoly.
that's Australian economics 101. But like you could have this competition outside. Like that's the whole thesis here is we as an economic unique THORChain are competing against other ecosystems, other blockchains, other applications on other places, and we may not want internal competition on top of that. We can just like all strive together, try to build the best possible product, collaborate to improve things if we see it's lagging, to allow THORChain to offer the best possible quotes and best possible rate on whatever.
There's a huge portion of the market which is native THORChain users that, that's what they use, right? That's it. So if you don't have competition within that ecosystem, then this market will just be, defaulto going to the only solution available to them, right? Like not every, like you can't consider your full customer base like other ecosystems and cross-chain, etc.
I mean, valid point, but you have the competition. I mean, it's just like on THORChain, like you have the competition at the front end level at least, and you get ton of different places. But at the end, it all tap into the same base layer pool and the same swap router on THORChain.
Right. And I mean, I'm very sympathetic to your position, especially if you guys were promised these certain things, had certain expectations, and now that's being called into question. But like, just in the, to serve truth, like, if it's all happening on THORChain, and let's say THORChain is charging the same 50% fee, THORChain doesn't care. Like it's not competition to THORChain. It's all happening on THORChain. It's only competition to Rujira. And I understand, yes, we don't want you. I mean, you're interested in Rujira. You don't want competitor. Like nobody wants a competitor, right? But like as far as THORChain is concerned, competition is good, which is the point Phil's making.
I mean that's.
Hey, can I chime in for a second? So,
am I audible?
yes,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, finally! Thank you, Kenton, for sending me that link. Go ahead, Eric.
There you go. I thought I'd try it. Sorry, guys. Patriot was rugged there for me, guys. Thank God he's back.
Nice. Yeah. So I just want to add something. So, Boone, I totally get where you're coming from, but I do think that we have to take all of this with the perspective that without Rujira, THORChain wouldn't have an Applayer. Yes, you're talking from the principles of decentralization, competition brings innovation, etc. But you also have to think that without Rujira, THORChain does not have an Applayer, and I don't see 7 or 8 different teams trying to get an Applayer working on THORChain. So working together with them for, let's say, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever, it's on the best interest of THORChain. So in theory, you are right. In practice, it doesn't make any sense to create any kind of controversy between the thought that Rujira and THORChain are one entity and should be working together. If there were 7 different teams saying, hey, we want to develop an Applayer, then your argument would be completely valid in practice. But in theory and in practice, I don't see any validity to what you're saying. Yes, like,
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but like that's why I was asking what the agreement was. Like that's like I feel very much in the dark because like
yeah,
what was the and to agree with Kenton is like I have no problem with Rujira not having competition for say a year, like 12 months. Right? That's what apparently was agreed upon. I don't personally have a problem with that for exactly the reasons you raised. Is they've done a lot of like the infrastructure work that will be used by anyone who deploys on the Applayer, and that's valuable and should be paid. But like just I mean, what are the terms of this agreement? Like, so yeah.
It was pretty much
I mean,
it. It was a 12 months head start, and then TBD. And I think that's what will happen. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so
and I think
here's an idea.
uh,
So it's going to be pretty quickly. So yes, there was an agreement between JP and Rujira, right? So I mean, you have a ton of node operators right here. You have the THORChain community. Maybe it can be something that can also be agreed upon, the broader community, because I know that Rugirans or Rugi holders, you also feel a little bit like in the dark, because you cannot really make a lot of decisions, because the decisions are made by node operators who hold Rune, and Rugirans do not hold a lot of Rune, or are more staked into Rugi, which is understandable. But I mean, these kind of spaces are also very good for us to reach some sort of mindset consensus. So if people actually agree with the terms that JP and Rujira agreed upon, maybe we can also add that to the ADR. In the end, the community rules, right?
yeah, I mean, it's a little tricky, right? Because Kujira had its issue, and then JP stepped up, rightly so. And by the way, guys, we should respect JP for having the vision to see and to understand the potential in conjunction with Code Hans and Pragmatic Monkey. I mean, this is absolutely the best thing to happen for our ecosystem, is to have our two ecosystems permutate into what we're building here. The 12-month leeway, I think that's reasonable. I think Kenton said as much. I think, and in fairness to Boone, it's all about just trying to figure out what the heck we're actually going to do. And in fairness to Kenton, it's the ADR process. We just all want transparency and clarity. And because, we were a little bit in the dark, that's why it's just, there's been some edge points in this conversation, right? But I think we've made a lot of progress in this regard, because, we're trying to understand a process of which we can determine, is this going to be permissioned, and in what ways it's going to be permissionless. Kenton, go ahead. I think you're trying to speak.
I was just gonna add some more color to it if people are maybe a bit unsure on both sides. So like when JP started working with the Kujira people, that was about a year ago now, maybe a bit longer. Back then, everything in THORChain was fine, and JP had a lot of political will in THORChain, and driving things forward. And then you fast forward to this year, and THORFi blowing up in January, and JP lost a lot of that political will. And like I've had large, not just ordinary, like I'm not saying the size matters, but even large rune holders talk to me, and they view JP as like one of the biggest risks in THORChain right now. And Thorf, and they're like, how much control does he have? What is he doing? This and that, and is he in check? And I'm willing to bet that echoes throughout the broader THORChain and rune holder ecosystem. And so THORFi was kind of pushed onto THORChain by JP. And look what happened. And now we have Applayer kind of being pushed onto THORChain by JP. So everyone's antennae is sticking up and like, hey, we don't want to go through that again. And believe me, talking about competing apps is not going to blow anything up. Like we're getting into the minutia here. But it's just kind of, if there's any contention or concern about Applayer, it's just the way it's being pushed through, and it's just putting people on, getting them to perk up and be like, well, hey, I want to make sure this is being done properly. We're not walking into anything else that could hurt THORChain. I think it's fine. I think Applayer is actually going to be quite what's the word? Like benign. Like I don't think there's any real existential threat from bringing it on. I think the bigger risk in my mind is going to be, how do we scale it, right? Removing the hard cap. I think that's our main conversation there. But that's another space. But I just wanted to bring that up. If there, JP this, and how is this happening, and why things change. I think that helps. Hopefully that helps with people, get some color on what's going on in the community.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a fair point, Kenton. I mean, what other ecosystem is as transparent as this one, right? Like, no one is up here censoring. I mean, Pragmatic Monkey has taken a lot of slugs today, right? And we just let it go, and that's fine. It's just a ruthless meritocracy up here. But at the same time, we do have some respect and decorum for each other. But yeah, we have a little bit of dirty laundry, and we have to just be honest and frank about that. And that's why I think this space is so important to do, just to get everyone on a same page, or at least on a very similar page, because, everyone here has really great points. And, in the way that Applayer is being built, you got to, for a permission system, you have to have that revenue sharing mechanism. You've got to do it a certain way, I think, at the beginning. It's like THORChain in the beginning, right? Like, we had a small amount of nodes, a very subset amount of nodes. And, the nodes really didn't have much autonomy at all. Like, it was pretty much all the devs, honestly, during the ChaosNet days. And as we reach more and more maturity, and and the devs, thankfully they stepped away. We've gotten rid of the Mimir. We've made incremental changes. I want people to think of the Applayer right now in that light. Like, yes, we all, like, a lot of people believe in permissionlessness, like myself. But when something's getting off the ground, when it's like a chick like fledgling trying to learn how to fly, sometimes you got to just have a different implementation, have a different subset of rules, or at least be willing to have a concession on one's own principles in order to try and make this thing achieve its full potential. Because again, all of us here, we don't really know like what truly works and what doesn't. We all have a really good idea. I think everyone here agrees on a lot of fundamentals. It's just this really interesting nuanced perspectives that we have. And so I think I just want to encourage everyone to just be really understanding and accepting, and be willing to sacrifice maybe a little bit of our dogma and my own dogma, because I'm very dogmatic like Boone when it comes to permissionlessness, but I'm willing to just see how that goes, because again, this is a decentralized system of centralized planners, right? The node operators are all decentralized. They're all individuals or entities or whatever. And they're centralized as in they control the network. And I honestly think that's probably one of the most interesting permutations of decentralization and centralization. Because again, decentralization, as Kenton said early on in the space, there's disadvantages when it comes to governance. But then if you have a centralized system, it can be really good for mobilizing the troops and pushing someone in a certain direction. But we have to basically blend those concepts here. So it's really interesting and confusing. So yeah, does anyone else have anything you want to add to that?
I'm trying to approve 2 speakers. I'm trying to approve NIK, Nick. He's not working for me. And I approved somebody else. I can't remember who. Justin?
And it's probably
I think you approved me. Thanks very much.
There you go, Justin.
Okay, Justin, did you want to have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, for me, permissionlessness, and I totally agree with some of the things that were said in the last 5 minutes. Like, shout out to JP for like having the vision and like buying all the Kuji tokens, and like then to me, the idea of an app layer as a part of THORChain is like a 20x, 50x proposition, because think about perps traders. There's so much volume. Sometimes, like if I look at my Hyperliquid account, there's like 500. I'm going to exaggerate. There's like $25 million of volume, and there's like I'm $50 in loss. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's a lot to be excited about. And then some of the other things I agree with is about we must try not to be too dogmatic. Like, there is a practical thing to permissionlessness when you can swap something without asking anybody's permission. When Binance, you log onto your Binance and there's another dark pattern. Oh, please provide us with another photo. Please provide us where you got this money from, blah, blah, blah. That's not permissionless, But like permissionless is like this empowering thing that you experience when you start to like trade one coin for another, and that's the practical sense of permissionlessness. And for me, like that's all I have to really add. It's just fun to take part sometimes. So I might even switch back to listening. But thanks so much for the interesting talk, guys. I think I learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm glad you said that, because really, like, Boone and others up here, like it can be a really terse conversation, really intense, but the stakes are quite high, guys. Pragmatic Monkey's a tough guy. I know he can take it. Like, we are building something here that is truly revolutionary, and we got to get it right. Or as it right as we have to make as close as approximation to the best system as possible. A lot of people are depending on us. They don't even know they're depending on us. So this by virtue has to be a very intense conversation, and embrace the process, guys. I know it can be uncomfortable, but don't be a pussy. We have to work hard on this. We have to figure this out. And so I appreciate everyone coming up here and spending their own time on their own Saturday or their own weekend, or staying up late. And I'm sure it's late for you, Pragmatic, figuring this out. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, sir, because ultimately we're building something that's never existed before. And Phil, I didn't get to interact with you. I was rugged, but I see you do Cardano. I hope you know that my protocol is adding Cardano. There might be some fusion there. That's a little bit of a side quest in this conversation, but I just wanted to say that to you. Because again, we just want to connect all ecosystems. I'm agnostic. I don't care. XRP, Cardano, let the market decide. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, guys, wow, we've been going on for 3.5 hours, and I'm willing to go as long as it takes to make sure that we're all on the same page. I don't care if it's 3, 4, 5 hours. I want to make sure that this community feels heard, and all opinions are voiced, and everything is said. Because, like I said, there was a lot of going back and forth in the communities, like, what the heck's going on? And it's best just to talk about it. And again, I don't think there's any more efficient way to do that than to get a space and have people like Code Hans come up here and break everything down, because everyone's coming from a different angle. Like, Boone's very good when it comes to economics, so is Kenton. And I'm good with first principles. I'm being modest. And then we have developers who are really good with code, and it's like figuring out if there's flaws in our argument just due to our lack of understanding. Like, it literally takes all of us to figure this shit out. So does anyone else anything else to add? I do have a few things I want to mention before we wrap it, or maybe just keep going. Doesn't matter to me.
I would love to just echo the thing you just said. Like, we really are all on the same side. We all want the same thing. Like, I mean, what attracted me to THORChain was, and you're great about this, Patriot, is like, we're doing this for the next generation. Like, there's a lot of forces that are trying to control humanity, and I think enslave humanity, and that's why I'm in crypto. Is like, it's one of the few things that can allow us to maintain individual human sovereignty and freedom. And that's why I'm emotionally invested in THORChain. Is I think this is the best shot to separate money from state. And I mean, that's why I care. And I think most people in this space are in it for the same thing. And so we are all on the same side, even when we disagree.
Yeah. God bless you, man, for saying that. Go ahead, Pragmatic.
I'm just fully aligned with you on that as well. I mean, and that's also why I like this THORChain community, because I think ideologically we are all here for the right thing, like building a better future, and one that is more fair and decentralized and without any middlemen. And I just wanted to add another thing. I think, so coming back on the core of the thing, whether it should be a permission or not, and do we have what do we put in the ADR and all that, I think bottom line is we have done a ton of work as a Rujira team to get it even possible to have an Applayer on THORChain. We just don't want to get rogue. So maybe the reasonable thing to put into this ADR is this 12 months exclusivity period, so to say. And then after that, we could allow competing protocol, but we need so in that case, instead, assuming the revenue split with THORChain is still supposedly 50%, in case of competing app, it would be 25-25. So we share between the Rujira team, which will still be which made that all possible, and will be under holding all those teams that trying to compete with their own products, and provide all those dev tools, wallet connectors, UI components, and all the base layer infrastructure that was needed for the smart contract. And so I think that's also a totally possible way of doing things. And maybe one day it will become part of the same token, and we can stop having this type of conflicts altogether.
Pragmatic Monkey, aren't you going to get in a bunch of trouble suggesting combining Ruji token with Rune? I thought
I-
that's a
I'm
that's a
sure like
no-go.
a lot of people in our community will not like it. But I have been fairly transparent with that. For me, like I see the long-term benefit of that, just because I mean, at the end, I'm all into about trying to reduce friction as much as possible. And here, like having these two tokens effectively create a lot of friction and tensions between our two communities. And it's just because, value accrual is the core of everything we build. Like a token only has value if it has cash flow occurring to it. That's unless you do meme coins, of course. And I think we are all very much aligned on that. And I think eventually unifying and releasing, like becoming part of the one and only same economic unit will make sense. So there are things, several things I don't agree with GP on, but on this one, I think it will make sense, and we just need to make sure that if we do that, we can feel the need of our community as well. And I think one of the main hurdle is the way stacking work on THORChain, like bonding, and bonding with not operator. It's a very not seamless process. You need to speak with humans. You need to bond. You have like a periods where you have to transform. It's not easy. Oh, I come one click, I deposit in a smart contract, and it's done. We just need to replicate that, and whether it's with a LST, or which is something I know some people also have controversial view on. I think that can be done very safely and to the benefit of 300%. But we just need to have like a mechanism that allow easy access to those cash flow for people, and here you go. I think that's the thing to solve. And of course, if there is a merger, we need to have some mechanism to come to that. Maybe yes, we'll have to find acceptable terms on both sides. Maybe it's redirecting a part of THORChain cash flow to little by Rujira and burn those tokens and gives this revenue 100% inside our stack. Rujira. Like honestly, I don't want to enter this debate. It's just I'm mentioning it because that's something GP has been vocal about since the beginning, and I'm mentioning it because I think a lot of those tension we have between our two communities have their roots in this dichotomy of tokens that kind of misaligned interest in a way, and being united in just one token with one value accrual mechanism. Well, every cash flow goes to the same place will solve a lot of that.
Well, if there's any kind of, I guess, silver lining having that token, like I understand if we were to like start from scratch, there wouldn't be a Rujira token. Everything would be structured differently. But listen, we have it. It exists and it's there. And it's, if I'm understanding you guys right, it's like you obviously want the best for your token. You want it to go up as much as possible. So you want the Rujira ecosystem to grow and make as much money as possible. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your guys' position is that you think you will make Rujira Alliance will make more money, the token will go up more if there's only a handful of primitives. You don't want like hundreds or dozens of different primitives. You want them all kind of, you just want several kind of doing this, each doing its own unique thing. That's how you think you're going to get the most usage, get the most volume, and drive up the price of Rujira token. Is that right?
Yes,
absolutely. Paraphrasing that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And there is also like this, if we allow competing protocol at the same verticals, then effectively they piggyback on our work, and there is zero value creation for our own token. But that's why I say like maybe the bridge into that is to say, okay, if we allow competing protocol to exist, fine. But the same way there is so the 50% tax effectively for THORChain become a split 50-50 between Rujira and THORChain, and then it's also I think that's the most elegant way to solve it. And if like Tor nodes effectively want to optimize for competition over like having this united approach, and it may be the most practical way of doing that.
Yeah, like that makes sense in my mind too. Like, because in my mind, Rujira should want as many apps as possible built on top of Ruji. You should want as many primitives as possible built on Ruji, so you're collecting those fees and
So yeah,
driving
so
up the
but I
value of
think
your token.
that's where we have to be specific. We want as much apps as possible building on top of the Ruji primitives, which in turn accrue value to both Ruji and THORChain. But what we don't want is competing products that don't accrue any value to Ruji. So that's the thing. But if we had this mechanism where actually the tax, THORChain tax, is split with Ruji, then we can open up the door for more competition. I'm not sure that's the optimal, but we can still have our own like Ruji.network front end where we. But the issue is it's decentralized, so anybody could make PRs and that stuff there. But we could like just have this curated Binance-like experience from this front end and still have other competing protocol with their own front ends doing stuff on the Applayer. But yeah, between that, the concerns around security budget and all that, I'm not sure, especially at this stage, it's a good idea to open the floodgates.
Okay, and where I was going with it is that like you, the way everything's designed is that you guys are trying to make money too. You're trying to get the Ruji token up, and so you want as much activity as you can get too. So like we're on the same team here. We all want growth, and we maybe just are disagreeing a little bit on how to get that growth. But our end goal is the same: to get volumes up, get fees up, so we both make money.
It's all about optimizing cash flow to token holders. That's the end game. Well, create great product and great experience, but being rewarded for that in the form of usage, which ultimately means cash flow.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Should we start wrapping up, Patriot?
I'm sorry. I was starting to rug there. I didn't mean for the the pause there. We can. I'm really glad. I'm glad you said that stuff, Kenton. I heard most of it. You know, and like I said earlier, we're like the Applayer is a fledgling bird. It's learning how to fly. So, you know, I think it's really good. And that's why, Kenton, I mentioned the marketing thing earlier, because I really would love to have someone like, because I think I saw a space from you a while ago that you were a petroleum engineer, were you not? And you didn't find satisfaction in that job and you came into finance. Am I correct about that?
That's right. Yeah. I was a rig pig for a while.
Right. So like, dude, I just think, especially when I hear you on spaces, like asking the nuanced question on these new primitives on the Applayer, I just think you really are the perfect guy when it comes to marketing, and it'll create a good feedback loop if we have money from THORChain base going to Rujira. And so we are investing in the Applayer, and that's kind of a flywheel in itself. And then someone like yourself, who's really good on this stuff, like you are better when it comes to economic primitive design than myself and Boone and probably Scorch too. Having guys like you being intimately involved with the team, and then that way there's less friction and there's more hands-on stuff. And so we avoid the delays or like these gaps of understanding between what we're doing and what we expect to happen. So I would encourage the developers of Nine Realms and anyone listening to this node, like, let's get some Kenton some money so we can do some marketing shit. I am just gonna bang this drum. Okay, I really believe that. So yeah, we can start to wrap. A couple things I want to mention though, guys. Me and Eric, we were on many XRP spaces, and fucking we finally got a foot in the door with some XRP guys. That took a lot of work. But I'm finally now. I know these guys. I've told them what we're building at Rujira and THORChain, and I'm pushing there. And I have an idea. We've been floating with Eric. I think I want a team of space crashers, okay, where we just go out and we attend spaces on varying topics and ecosystems. Like if I don't care what it is, you know what I mean? We add Solana. Well, then we go find Solana spaces. Like maybe we'll call ourselves space cadets, okay? And so if anyone's interested in that, and you got to have an understanding of Rujira and THORChain, you got to be able to articulate what's going on. And if you have those skills and those knowledge, I think if we get a little team together where we just go out and try and get on spaces to increase mindshare, because Eric and I made a lot of progress with XRP. It felt really good, and we're going to keep doing that. So if anyone's interested in that, please join. Go ahead, Eric. We're going to say something.
I can't hear anything. Did I get rugged? Are you guys still there?
Shit. Okay. Eric, I can't hear Eric. I thought maybe I was getting rugged. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Patriot.
Okay, cool. Then I'm just going to keep going. Sorry, Eric. I don't know what's going on. So yeah. So if you guys have a team, let's go. Okay. And let's do that. So yeah, another thing as well. Let me catch my thoughts here. Oh yes. I always make this a point to add this, guys. Maya Protocol, our hot Mexican girlfriend, she's added privacy, guys, and this is a very huge layer. This is a huge 0 to 1. And I just want everyone to always be aware that there's probably going to be a time where the daggers are going to be out from Maya Protocol when maybe illicit swaps go out through their blockchain. Guys, please be prepared to defend my protocol on a moment's notice. Privacy is a human right, you all know. I don't need to tell you this. And I just encourage everyone, please be ready to do that, okay? Because they were there for us, ultimately, THORChain, right? Okay, I think that's me covering everything I wanted to say. Did anyone else have anything else? And again, sorry, Eric, I think you rubbed.
I'm good. Thank you, guys.
All
It was
right,
great.
yeah. Woo, okay, this was a long space. I have a pretty yeah, I'm pretty tired, guys. I hope everyone got something out of this. I think everyone feels better now. I feel better now. I think Kenton, I hope you feel better as well. I think we understand each other. That was the whole point of this space. Talk it out, work it out, figure it out. And that's why we're going to keep doing this. And if anyone feels like something doesn't make sense, or there is a disconnect between the communities, or, you know, and then, like I said, I'm trying to make sure. I think of Rujira as THORChain, and I think of myself as a Rujiran. Like, if there's money from Rujira going to THORChain, we're brothers, we're sisters. You're my boys, you're my sisters. We're all on the same team here. We do this, like, just say something, and we will start a space on a moment's notice. I don't want misconceptions to metastasize into like huge drama points just because we have to wait on a certain day to have a space. If there's something we don't understand, reach out to me. I'll fire up a space. We'll figure it out right then and there.
Great,
Okay.
Patriot. So it's great doing these with you, man. Thank you. You're a great host.
Likewise, brother, and great job with the questions. Pragmatic Monkey, great job. You know, explain everything. And thank you to all the speakers, Hans, everyone else. We're in this together, guys. So I really appreciate everyone attending. This was a long one, but we'll make them as long as we need to in order to fix problems. That's no big deal. So, okay, guys, go ahead, Kenton.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I think it's great. Like, it really bugs me when people get online and say we can't. You know, why do we have to have this conversation and get, you know, argue? And I'm like, I don't think we're arguing. I'm trying to understand, right? And we're, you know, trying to hear each other out and walk through it. So yeah, I think these conversations are great. Hopefully it helps others as well. You know, it's the best way for understanding things, the best way to move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're not communicating, we're you know, we're chasing our tail. You know, especially when we have, because there is still that. Unfortunately, there still is that the bifurcation of the community where we have like the Rujiran Telegram and the THORChain Telegram, and you know, one conversation would go over here, the other one, and it can be a bit of a mess. So I just want to make that bandwidth of information flow between ecosystems more and more, broaden that to make it more information go through. Pragmatic Monkey, do you have any final thoughts on this, my friend?
No, good. No, I think it's good. We clear the air a bit around that, and yeah, I hope we just find a way that is acceptable. I guess this ADR 20 eventually will go for a vote. If I don't know if you are gonna make any change to it, Kenton, but if you do, please keep me posted, and I will be keen to review and make sure we are in agreement with what goes there for vote.
Well, what we talked about, right? Let's slip in that 12-month leeway period for the Rujiran, you know, Applayer core teams, right? I think that's something we want to slip in there, and you know, we can clean up the language. What do you think, Kenton?
Yeah. I think the 12 months period and the fee split on the 50% revenue going to THORChain if it's for an app that is not part of the Rujira Alliance and therefore is effectively competing with Corp Vertical from Rujira.
Yeah, I actually think you guys can negotiate better than that. But yeah, that sounds good. We should have some language like that. That'd be great. And I'm happy to PM if you want to talk a bit more offline, maybe JP or something, and we can just between the three of us iron things out a bit better. But yeah, having something a bit more clear written down would be great.
Sounds like we got a plan, boys. I love it. Okay, cool. We've talked it through, said all the things. We got a plan. Let's execute the plan and let's move forward and let's kick some fucking ass. You know what I'm saying, boys? Woo! Kick some fucking ass. That's what I'm all about. So I've had 14 cups of coffee. So as you guys know, I'm pretty pumped up. This has been a great space. The THORChain accounts, you can close it at any time. I'll give my final salutation. Pragmatic Monkey, Kenton, love you guys. All the other speakers, great job, everyone. That was fun.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.